thrilling OT victories. The Ottawa RedBlacks look to keep their winning ways going tonight at home against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who welcome back Bo Levi Mitchell. Does Dustin Crum have another incredible performance in him, or will the veteran QB outshine him in his return?
This guy could possibly be a franchise quarterback.
This young man is only starting his second game, and we're starting to see a little greatness out of him.
Steps up, runs again. Big run, Dustin Crum to give the Ottawa RedBlacks the victory. This is a team that's needed more than a crumb of hope. This is for the win. 2-point convert back-to-back in overtime, and their first win in Calgary since 2019.
Mitchell on his backside.
Yeah, not liking that. Slow to get up. A little groin maybe. That's not what you want to see if you're a Hamilton Tiger Cat.
Yes, I meant it. Yeah, man, I went too cold.
After missing 4 games, Bo is back, and his team needs him more than ever as they face one of the hottest teams in the league with one of the hottest young quarterbacks. Go get him, Bo.
Crumb Dog millionaire. 3 games does not make a quarterback, but I tell you what, for the Ottawa RedBlacks franchise, they sure are excited about this kid, and for good reason. He's making it happen all day long.
There's no doubt that they're happy to have Bo back, and especially this big fella. Look, you talk about the speed of Tim White. Well, your big body guy is wearing number 1. Go find him. When you need a grab, a contested grab, Duke's your guy.
Back to the RedBlacks, and while Dustin Crum has been getting all the attention, let's not forget about Brandon Dandridge. What a season he's had so far. 3 return touchdowns, including back-to-back pick sixes. We expect another pick 6 tonight. And right now, we want to show you beautiful downtown Halifax, Nova Scotia, because that's exactly where we are. Touchdown Atlantic, back for the 6th time. It is the 2nd regular season game that will happen on the East Coast. Beautiful St. Mary's Stadium, all quiet right now. But my goodness, tomorrow this place is going to be rocking with 10,000 fans at Huskies Stadium right behind us at St. Mary's University. Cannot wait for that, but of course, can't wait for this monster game tonight. We've got Davis Sanchez, we've got Matt Dunnigan, we've got Milt Stiegel. And just before we get to Kenzie Lalonde, who is going to be previewing this game, how nice is it to be back on the East Coast, Ches?
Well, it's great. It's been a while since I've been on a college campus, but look, it's at least 5 years. But the folks here, it's been great just to be around the folks and just enjoying. You know, a time like this, it's everyone enjoying their love for the CFL, and it's been evident in all our interactions.
Crushing some church while I'm here. Local beer brewed and sponsored the CFL. Outstanding. I must say, Kate, hanging out with the crew last night. Got a chance to relax for the first time here in Halifax, and what a great city, Milt.
Good to be back in the facts, baby. That's all I can say. It's always good to be back in the facts. Back to you, Kate.
All right, thank you, Milt. Appreciate that. We're going to get to this game in a moment, but for now, let's go to the nation's capital and join Kenzie, who has more on tonight's game. Kenzie?
Yes, Kate. Well, the rain is holding off, but I got to tell you, it is humid here in the nation's capital. But no rain, that's a good sign, because tonight we have a battle of quarterbacks with the return of the legend himself, Bo Levi Mitchell. He's 0 for 2 so far with the black and gold. But when we spoke yesterday, he said his goal tonight, it's simple. It's to win. And that is exactly what the Ticats need right now, because Bo Levi Mitchell has the highest winning percentage in CFL history. So those are the kinds of numbers that the Ticats need right now. But will it overshadow the young star of Dustin Crum, who has been so fun to watch? This will be his 3rd start so far this season, and he's already accounted for 264 rushing yards. Now, it was the Ticats who got the win last time these two teams met, but Kate, I think we can both agree that these are 2 totally different teams. So grab some garlic fingers, you guys. We're in for a good one.
I love it. We have lots of garlic fingers on the way, just to let you know. But the big story of this one tonight has to be this unexpected quarterback battle. On the one side, the veteran Bo Levi Mitchell, who we haven't seen since week number 2 when he was injured against the Toronto Argonauts, who we will see here tomorrow. And then we have Dustin Crum, who has been so electrifying. Back-to-back OT victories. You've got the rookie taking on the vet tonight. What do you like about it, Matt?
Kate, everything. I love everything about it. They couldn't be two quarterbacks further apart from where their careers are right now. One trying to finish strong and one trying to start strong, and he certainly has. Dustin Crum's taken the Canadian Football League by storm because he's playing relaxed, fast and free. He doesn't know any better. He's just going out there and making the game happen and using his legs. You heard Ken talk about 264 yards in 3 games. That's on 26 carries. You know, that's over 10 yards a pop.
Wow.
And he's putting a lot of pressure on defenses, and which is opening up their passing game, which is keeping their defense off the field. And they already got Richie Leone and Lewis Ward on the special teams and great units there. This football team's coming together because of Dustin Crum.
Yeah, these two quarterbacks, as you mentioned, are in my opinion, are both under pressure. You talk about Bo, who's coming back after, missing 4 games. There's so much pressure on this team to make it to the Grey Cup. They're a long way from that, but they're counting on Bo, and he gives them the best opportunity to do it. Then you talk about Dustin Crum, and I think there's pressure on him because he's performed so well. It's only been 2 games, but people are expecting him each and every week now to come out and get it done because he's shown that he can be a star in this league against Winnipeg, against Calgary. Now he's expected to win this game. Those 2 games, he wasn't expected to win. He's expected to win this game, and I know Davis is not going to like this, but is this a trap game for the Ottawa RedBlacks? When was the last time somebody said that? A trap game and Ottawa RedBlacks in the same sentence.
I love the fact that you're even saying that. Or we could say that with a somewhat straight face. You're right, and this is a big game for Ottawa. We wouldn't have thought they'd be in this situation as a favorite, a month ago. But when you look at the 2 quarterbacks, I agree. I really look forward to seeing Bo right now, just because of the consummate professional he is, how great he's been, and this is a pressure situation for him. He hasn't lived up to what the expectations have been from the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And then on the other hand, Dustin Crum, I can't figure out who he is because I first thought maybe he was an athlete, and then we saw him get the ball, quick game, and get the ball off his hands, kind of orchestrating the offense. I went back and watched him in college. He played against Jordan Love in a bowl game. By far, he's the best player on the field, was the best player in that game, and it wasn't even close. So the talent is there. All his teammates say what a great player is, a locker room guy is. So let's see if he can continue what we've seen early in this kid's career.
Can I ask you guys a quick question? You can answer this too, Kate. Right now, you needed 1 quarterback to lead you into the playoffs, even playing field. Would you take Crum? Would you take Bo Levi Mitchell?
I'm taking Bo. I'm taking the experience.
You're taking Bo.
Yep.
Who you taking?
I'm taking Crum. He doesn't know any better.
I like that.
Who are you going with?
I'm going to take Bo in 1 game right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to answer it now.
I'm going with Crum. I'll go with Crum.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going with Crum.
You know what? Here's the deal. All I expect with Crum at this point is that we're going into OT, and it's going to be absolutely thrilling tonight. So just live it up. That's all we ask every time before every single game, Bill. We literally just want a great game, and my goodness.
Perfect. Good job asking questions.
Do I get the weekend off in Halifax? Bye, everyone.
Mitchell on his backside.
Not liking that. I can just tell by the way he's walking. Got a good side.
After being forced out of action in Week 2, Bo Levi Mitchell is officially back for the Ticats Week 8 tilt.
Ready to play football and compete. I missed it over the last 4 weeks.
He attacked his, rehab the same way he loves football. He wanted to get back out there.
The message top down was, don't come back until you're ready, because when you come back, we want to get rolling and we want to be good. I feel strong and fast and ready to go.
After just 14 yards on 8 attempts last week, James Butler looking to get back on track tonight, and our friends at FanDuel think that will happen. Here's a look at the top 5 most staked anytime touchdown scorers over at FanDuel. Dustin Crum has the shortest odds to score tonight. He has 3 rushing touchdowns in his last 3 games. Butler has the shortest odds for Hamilton. He's looking for his 4th touchdown of the year. Nate Bahar scored his 1st touchdown of the season last week in Calgary. Gotta like the chemistry he's having with Dustin Crum so far. And Tim White at 71 yards and a touchdown week 1 with Bo Levi Mitchell under center. So obviously they're looking at that connection as well. This is a very fascinating game to pick touchdown scorers. Who is yours, Davis Sanchez?
It's Nate Behar.
Of course it is.
Nate Behar will score, certainly. And you wonder why folks take teams or believe in teams that have won previously. It's because they can draw from experience they had before. And that's what Nate Behar and Dustin Crum are building. In big moments, Dustin Crum is going to Nate Behar. He'll do it again tonight, and we'll cash. Let's go.
And teams are playing zone down in the red zone. It's really
maybe
easy.
not, hopefully not again.
Right? You know, because he just sits down, boom, it's on a touchdown. I'm going with Crum Dog Millionaire. This kid, the question is, to me, is not if he's going to score, it's how long he's going to score from. You know, from the 5, the 10, the 20, the 30-yard line. He's got that capability. It's just a matter of how long the touchdown's going to be.
I'm with Davis with Nate Behar. And is Nate Behar the best receiver on that team? No, but Dustin Crum and Nate Behar, they found that chemistry. They have something going. So, as he mentioned, he's going to look for Nate Behar in crucial times and when they get in the red zone. So, definitely Nate Behar.
I think the interesting point is, too, I mean, they're spying him now big time, right? Because he's using his legs a lot, too. But now the fact that, remember, in the beginning of last game, he wasn't using them as much. He was finding Nate. It's very fascinating.
Who you got, Kate?
Thank you very much for asking, Matt. I got myself James Butler. Why? Because he's been really inconsistent this season, right? We didn't see the same James Butler that we saw out west. And then he got better again. Then he had an off game last week, so this is where I'm headed. So once again, I like Butler. Ches and Milt picking Nate Behar. Matty likes Dustin Crum. AK likes the Duke. Check out the FanDuel app for the latest odds. And with more on Crum, here is Glenn Suter.
Well, Kate, Dustin Crum is creating a real buzz here in the city, as you guys might imagine. And in fact, they're printing T-shirts. You talked about the run game in just 2.5 games for Dustin Crum. He is leading all quarterbacks rushing the football. So I thought we'd start there and show why he is such a great runner from that quarterback position. First of all, it's tremendous lower body strength. Against the Calgary Stampeders, Titus Wall is clean off the edge, and he just flips his hips and breaks this tackle, and Titus Wall falls right off him. That's the strength in the lower body for Dustin Crum. Now, his speed. He's a long strider, but he's got quick feet. This is an all-out run blitz by Calgary. He beats the blitz, and look at the speed to the outside. Long stride, but quickness in that stride as well. So what do you do if you're the Hamilton Tiger Cats? Well, Calgary spied him. You guys have touched on it. They had Cameron Judge squeeze the line of scrimmage, come up and keep his eyes on Crum, and just mirror him wherever he went. So the question is, are the Hamilton Tiger Cats going to go with the same technique? Do they go the 007 technique and spy Crum, which would void one of those zones playing pass coverage, or do they just play sound football and try to stop his running game from there? Remains to be seen. We'll see it tonight.
And we, as mentioned, are expecting huge things from Dustin Crum to keep us entertained all night long. Only 4 quarterbacks have managed to successfully complete a game-winning drive this season. Dustin Crum is the only one to have done it twice. CFL quarterbacks 5-11 overall in the fourth quarter comebacks this season. Chad Kelly, the only starting quarterback not to have faced a fourth quarter comeback this season. Time now for the prop shop. Here's AK.
A couple of wagers I love ahead of Ottawa and Hamilton tonight. A game featuring the 2 worst pass defenses in the Canadian Football League. That bodes well for a couple of receivers. Starting with Justin Hardy of the Ottawa RedBlacks. I'm on his over for receiving yards. He and Dustin Crum have showed a ton of continuity through 3 weeks. 19 receptions for Hardy in those 3 games with Crum under center. I think the target share continues to pick up tonight against a very exploitable Hamilton Ticats pass D. Love the over for Hardy. On the other side, Duke Williams of the Ticats. He has been their most consistent option at receiver, and he's going up against an Ottawa pass D that has allowed more than 300 yards against per game this season. That is worst in the Canadian Football League. A couple of triple-digit performances from Duke this year. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see another one on Friday Night Football tonight.
Welcome to beautiful Nova Scotia. Touchdown Atlantic officially back on TSN.
just the feel of it for the players, for the fans. It has that Grey Cup atmosphere.
Jamal Morrow, big run Riders. Morrow still on his feet. A third down gamble, and did it ever pay off? Intercepted, Argos. Whitten McManus, touchdown Toronto.
We have indulged in so much already. Lobster, scallop, shrimps. Look how many fish we have caught.
Wow. CFL fans have come here wanting to be part of this special event.
Absolutely tremendous to have Touchdown Atlantic back in the CFL.
Impressive.
So tomorrow will be the second regular season game, but overall, Touchdown Atlantic has traditionally been a high-scoring affair, averaging close to 56 points per game. The last 3 Touchdown Atlantic games have also been close scores, all being within a single major. Last year's game was absolutely fantastic, with the Argos end up winning 30-24, and they are calling it the East Coast's biggest celebration of football. It is Huskies Stadium, a beautiful aerial view here. We've added some stands here. It is a sold-out crowd of 10,000 people. And I don't know about you guys, but walking through the streets of Halifax, there's a lot of green so far. Rider fans travel so exceptionally well, and we expect the exact same tomorrow. And Milt, we look at these games too, and they're great. We've got the 5-0 Argos. They're 5-0 for the first time since 1960. And then you have on the opposite side the Elks playing at night, unfortunately, with that dubious record just looming.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but it is what it is. You know, you have to go out there and play a game. We know what these Argos are capable of doing with their young star quarterback and Chad Kelly, and then you look at the other side where they're struggling a little bit. But anything is possible. But just talking about the game, it's all about this atmosphere. It's all about what this city is doing. It's all about being in the facts. And as you talked about, walking around downtown there around our hotel.
Running around.
You're running around. Yeah, we were running around.
We were running.
You see the fans from both organizations. So if your team is not playing here, if you're a fan of the CFL, you need to get out here because there's nothing else like it. It's truly special.
And Kate talked about the Rider fans, and I know we've also talked off camera about the surprise to me, the double blue. I was actually surprised that there was that many double blue here. And all I want for tomorrow is these fans, because we keep talking, how many guys we ran into that keep on telling us and folks telling us how much they love the game, being here and get a chance to watch the actual game in person. We love coming and watching games in person. So imagine folks out here who don't get an opportunity to watch CFL football in person. I hope they put up a ton of points. I hope Swag Kelly goes bananas. I hope Mason Fine finds his rhythm. And I think they just hope to put up some numbers and have a big game and have some fun out here.
Davis, you mentioned hope. And, I got to talk about the BC Lions over at Edmonton and bringing up this game. And the dubious distinction of a 20-game losing streak. Look, 3 weeks ago, we weren't talking about the Ottawa RedBlacks the way we are now. They were one play away from being 3-0 under Dustin Crum, maybe 1 yard away. And that's all it's going to take for the Edmonton Elks to break through. They need to break the ice, and they need a play from a defense, a pick six like we've seen, so many times now for the RedBlacks, right? And to me, that's what you need. You need something unexpected. And they were close last week against Winnipeg. This football team is close, and they just need to break the ice, and I think things will turn for them, much like they have the Ottawa RedBlacks. It
is a record that has stayed in place in North American sports for 70 years, and if they lose one more game, they will be the only team that will unfortunately lose that many games at home straight. My goodness, it has been a go for those Elks fans. All right, first up, though, it is the Rough Riders taking on the Toronto Argonauts. You can see that at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And then the BC Lions rolling into Edmonton. Will the Elks finally get a home victory? We'll find out tomorrow night. That one going 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. But as we've been chatting about, of course, we have our big game tonight between the Ottawa RedBlacks and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Nate Bahar are looking to keep the momentum going from a week ago. 78 yards and a TD in their thrilling win. More on the match right after this. A rookie QB in Dustin Crum.
His first year in the Canadian Football League.
Crum takes off. Gets inside. Touchdown. And the RedBlacks, incredibly, forcing overtime. Steps up. Runs again. Big run. Dustin Crum to give the Ottawa RedBlacks the victory.
He believes in himself. He also trusts himself.
This is for the win. 2-point convert, and Ottawa has done it again.
We're starting to see a little greatness out of him.
You have to feel absolutely fantastic for Red Black fans right now. After everything they've been through, they've had back-to-back weeks of thrilling victories, hoping for another one tonight, courtesy of Dustin Crum. Here he is with Kenzie.
Well, Dustin, last time you were on this field, it was a walk-off rushing yard, 29 yards for yourself. What do you take from that game and apply here tonight?
I think the confidence in just what we can do as an offense and as a team when we play kind of complete football. All three units kind of doing their thing, and like I said, just take the confidence from that and carry it forward, hopefully, to another win today.
Well, it's been fun to watch you and Nate Bahar go to work. You've been connecting ever since.
Yeah.
How reliable is he for you?
I mean, he's awesome as a receiver. Really, the whole group. I mean, they all open each other up. It's all guys kind of working in unison. So having a receiving core like that's awesome, and it makes my job a lot easier.
Last time you saw the Ticats, you were held at just the 2-yard line. How eager is this group for redemption?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we get to play in front of our home crowd, we obviously always want to come away with a win. In a divisional game, so it means a lot, and then they got us the first time. So a lot riding on it tonight.
Thank you, Dustin. Good luck.
Thank you.
It's so true. You think about the way they lost that last game, and you think that Crum just wants this one so bad. You know what? Kenzie Lalonde's working so hard tonight. She is now standing by with Bo Levi Mitchell. What a gal.
Well, Bo, here we are, 4 games away, but you're back. How would you describe your emotions right now?
Excited, anxious, ready to get out there. Honestly, just ready to get out there, teammates, ball out, and have fun.
You were talking about how you were dialed in when you're on the sidelines at the play calling, working with Schultz, working with Powell. How excited are you to bring that, learned environment into this game tonight? I
mean, I think it's a great part of any sport. We all want to be out there playing, but when you're not, you have an opportunity to learn something. You can sit there and do nothing, but I think a lot of great athletes want to learn as much as they can. So being able to be on the sideline and learn something from Matt, from Taylor, from Tommy, the way he's calling plays, I think it's going to prepare me more for this moment.
What are you expecting out of the Red Blacks here tonight?
Oh man, a tough, confident team. I mean, they've had 3 out of the last 4. They played us tough. Obviously, they were a couple yards away from tying it up. So a very good, underrated football team. They're physical. They're going to bring it, and they're playing with a lot of confidence behind the young kid Crum. And we just got to go out there and try to crumble that confidence.
Good to see you back, Bo. Good luck.
Yeah, appreciate it.
A lot of focus on the quarterbacks in this one. Player to watch for you tonight, Matt.
Well, Dustin Crum, obviously, for a couple of reasons. And their running backs, Devontae and Demontre, Williams and Tuggle. I think his ability to run the footballs, put pressure on defenses like they hadn't seen from Ottawa since J.C. Watts. And to me, and it was one of those situations where he opens up that run game for these running backs, and that's huge because now they control the line of scrimmage, control the football, and keeps the defense off the field, better field position. Everything starts from Dustin Crum setting up that run.
My player to watch is Tim White. But I just saw something in Bo's eyes right now, and I think Bo has a big game. I didn't know how I felt about this. I think Bo has a big game tonight. Tim White will obviously play a big role in that.
Well, what about the man who's going to be having to cover Tim White, Brandon Dandridge? We know how hot he's been over the last 2 weeks, 2 pick sixes in a row, so it's going to be a battle between those two. But there's a individual who's not on the field who I'm watching. This individual has not played a down yet. This individual is trying to get in the league. This individual's been working hard. They've been running heels, and it's just a matter of time before they get their opportunity. Believe me. Yes, this individual has long hair, been running heels. They've been working hard. Believe me, they're going to be excited. You're going to be excited when you see him on the field. It's nothing like we've ever seen before.
Seeing him on the field?
This person is tough. She is going to make it happen.
Wow.
Yes, we have a video of it. Check it out.
Okay.
Check it out. So here we go. You ready, Kay?
Let's preface this. This is number 6.
This is number 6. That's the heel.
It's a citadel.
Here we go. Let's go. Here we go. We're going, baby. That's inspiration.
Baby.
That's inspiration, baby. We're going. We're going. Come on, Kay. Woo. She's a beast. She's a beast.
Coming off back-to-back thrilling OT victories, the Ottawa RedBlacks are home looking to keep their winning ways going against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who welcome Bo Levi Mitchell back. Will it be Crum or Mitchell on Friday Night Football? Well, he hasn't played since week 2 when he was injured during the fourth quarter against the Toronto Argonauts. But today he makes his anticipated return for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Bo Levi Mitchell officially back under center. On the other side of the field, though, it is the electrifying Dustin Crum. He's the first quarterback since Danny Barrett back in 1986 to have back-to-back OT victories. He has been absolutely sensational, and we expect nothing less on this fine Friday night, where we are currently on the East Coast. Beautiful Halifax, Nova Scotia, getting set for the 6th edition of Touchdown Atlantic, the second regular season game played in the CFL here on the East Coast. They're calling it the East Coast's biggest celebration of football, and being in this city, seeing the fans, chatting with the fans, just seeing the excitement everywhere. We could not agree more. And welcome to Friday Night Football on TSN. Alongside David Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stiegel, as we get set for the Red Blacks taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And this game has so many different story angles, but Ches, what are you looking forward to tonight?
We just heard Bo Levi Mitchell talk, and it was all about Crum this week because he's just been a star and a surprise to many. But what I saw a look in Bo's eye, and I really want to see how he comes out and performs. There's a lot of pressure under a guy that's, had a pretty outstanding potential Hall of Fame career. A lot of pressure. I want to see how he performs. I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah, and I think he's brought on that pressure himself as well. Expectations that he has of himself. 1 touchdown to 4 interceptions this year. Things hadn't gone well in a Hamilton Tiger Cat uniform as he had hoped. And now he's got a second life, a second opportunity to go out there and take control of this football team.
Pressure on Bo, but also pressure on Crum. Yes, he's only his 3rd game, but now he's expected to go out there and continue performing like he's been performing. He's expected to win this game. You talk about Bo, pressure on him. This team is hosting the Grey Cup. They brought Bo here, paid him all this money, and he's not showed up yet. So it's pressure on both of these guys.
You know what, too? It's an interesting head coach battle. Orlando Steinauer has never lost to the Ottawa RedBlacks. Wow. On the flip side, Bob Dice has never beaten. And trust me, when we saw Bob Dice run onto the field when they won in that thrilling victory last time at home, I don't think anyone would be mad at seeing that again. We'll get you to Ottawa right after this.
Thank you, Kate. After a day of rain, hail, wind, and more in the nation's capital, it feels a little apocalyptic around here. Well, why wouldn't it, Glenn Suter, as the suddenly surging Red Blacks return to TD Place with a home winning streak?
Yes, 2 in a row, 2 overtime wins in a row. Hey, it's a quarterback story tonight with Bo Levi Mitchell returning for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Didn't really get a chance to settle in with this new team when he was injured in just week 2, but he's healthy and he's QB1 when he is. That's why they went and got him. The 2-time Grey Cup champion is ready to go tonight for Hamilton. And here is the guy that 2 months ago was 4th on the depth chart here in Ottawa, Dustin Crum, and right now they're printing T-shirts.
Yeah, absolutely. He is learning on the job and learning very quickly. There is Bob Dice, the head coach of the Ottawa RedBlacks. We've seen the energy and the enthusiasm from him in the last couple of victories. Wants to get one here at home again in a divisional match, a very relaxed pregame. And of course, behind our lead official Dave Foxtrot, there you see Orlando Steinauer having the last couple of words. Sunday Adeleke, Richard Leonard, all the rest on that sideline. Coach O, ecstatic to have his veteran quarterback back at the helm, undefeated against the Ottawa RedBlacks. He had a bit of a look in his eye, just like Bo Levi Mitchell that David Sanchez mentioned in the pregame as we are underway from Ottawa. It is the opening kick taken by Tyreek McAllister. Big-time returner, starting at receiver tonight, and the offense comes out with Bo Levi Mitchell to the 32-yard line.
Well, he's 90-27-2 and 9-2-2 against Ottawa. So winning record for Bo, even though as a Tie-Cat, he is 0-2 after a loss in Game 1 versus Winnipeg and Game 2 versus Toronto where he was injured. So they've tested him for not just this work week, but the 2 weeks leading up, and he is good to go. QB1's back.
The towel inside the hand warmer there as the rain started to fall just as we were about finishing the Canadian national anthem. Will begin in the backfield with James Butler. Looks to him, looks over the top and just over the hands of Tim White. Incomplete on first down.
Take a look at one of the top receivers in the league, and Tim White. Just a little change motion. He's going to run that deep out. Well covered down the field.
That was
a little bit high on that throw from both.
DeAndre Lamont in coverage there. Cariel Brooks listed as the designated American behind him. Expect to see a lot of Brooks tonight. Maybe they went after Lamont on that first snap. Now Bo's got 2nd and 10. From his own 32. 4-man rush. Throws it over the middle. That's complete. Duke Williams makes the grab. That'll be his 24th catch of the season and move the sticks for the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, early on in this game, you can see the rain coming down pretty hard. There's a storm going through the area. So right now, ball security is going to be very important for both teams. And you can see Duke Williams, the leader for the Hamilton Tiger Cats and their receiving core, making sure of that catch, hanging on right in the belly.
Expect to see a lot of this tonight as well as the rain falls. The diamond backfield mixing and matching personnel packages. They'll hand it off. McAllister listed as a starting receiver in the return game. He gets a chance to get a handoff here early. Let's meet this Tiger Cats starting offense.
Well, Lorenzo Molden's in the game for Ottawa, so that means left tackle Brandon Kemp has got his work cut out for him tonight. So we'll look at that matchup as it goes on tonight with he and Molden off the edge. And you mentioned it already, Tyreek McAllister is lined up as a receiver, and we might see some different formations from Tommy Condell tonight, and maybe even a little Kai Loxley in there.
Oh yeah, the third quarterback listed here tonight for the black and gold. Right now it's Mitchell on 2nd and 7. He steps forward in the pocket, checks it down underneath. Butler knifes forward, moves the chains once again for Hamilton.
Had a good talk with Bo this week, and you know he talked about the good week of practice and some of the issues Hamilton were having were just taking care of some of the little details, making the smart play, not always looking for the big play. Make the smart play, dump it off if you have to, and they do that. Now there's a lightning warning, and I think they're gonna have the players head into the dressing room.
Yeah, it is a weather delay here early on. Expected to see some of this, but it has come quickly, and so they will clear out the stands, quickly go to the locker room as all the players make their way towards the locker room. And I mean, if you're the Hamilton Tiger Cats, it's unfortunate because you're moving the football here early on.
Yeah, you're going to have to restart and we'll have to have a warm up again when they come back out, a little bit of a stretch, things like that. But at this point, just so the fans understand that rain's no problem.
Yep.
Snow, sleet, all that stuff.
We love that
We can
stuff.
play in all of that. But if there's lightning in the area, that becomes a safety issue. And everyone, the fans have to go underneath. Cheerleaders and dance teams have to go underneath, and so do the players. So that's what's happening right now. And this is supposed to pass through. It's not supposed to hang in here. So. But I am seeing a little lightning out there.
Yeah. Well, we had a nice thunderclap about 5 minutes before we got close to kickoff here, and so we knew it was in the area. We've looked at the radar. I'm sure we'll get a look at it for you as well at home, but it is a rowdy day in the weather community here in the Ottawa region, and once it passes through, looks like it's going to be smooth sailing. But for now, they will, of course, have to take the delay and step away from the field for a moment and get everyone safe underneath, as we will send it back 2,000 kilometers east, where they're having a heck of a time out there on the ocean. Here's Kate in the panel.
Marshall, we had just dove into our lobster here on the East Coast, and we have now put it under the table because we will get back to it. As mentioned, the good news is this system is supposed to pass, so hopefully this is not one of these touch-and-go situations where we're waiting on it for hours, but clearly unsafe at this point for the players to play, fans as well going underneath, and we will certainly keep you posted on the weather in the nation's capital and when these teams go back onto the field. From a player's perspective, when we talk about weather delays, and sometimes they look a little longer than this one, very odd that you get maybe a couple minutes into a game, 1 minute into the game, you've gone through warm-ups, what you're used to doing, but then to be pulled so quickly, sat down for half an hour and then come back out. Milt, how difficult is that?
It's difficult, but I think it's easier than maybe it happening in the middle of the second quarter or the middle of the third quarter, because now you're not to the flow of the game yet. I think Hamilton ran 3 or 4 plays, so you're pretty much going to start the game where it need to be started at the beginning. They'll come out and they'll get situated where they were. So I would rather this happen. You don't want it to happen at all, but I'd rather this happen than later on in the game.
And I think it's going to work to Hamilton's advantage right now, because they converted twice already on second down, and once he hit Duke Williams on a dig, and then he climbed the pocket and found Butler off to his left, free for a first down. And to me, that settles down Bo Levi Mitchell. And taking the field with so much pressure, we've talked about it at length about what he's feeling, what he's capable of doing, how he hasn't filled those expectations to this point. I think that's going to settle him down. He's got 2 conversions on second down. He's completed a couple nice passes, climbed the pocket, kind of, okay, this is me. I can do this. I remember it's like riding a horse. Let's get on there and ride. And I think it's a good situation for him and his football team.
I know one thing. When I was a young fella, it didn't matter as much. When I was older, I was like, no, I got to go back and try to get loose again.
No.
Yes. And I know all of us who played for over a decade understand how that is. But look, right before the game started, I talked about it, and we saw it, a little bit of it, and you talked about Bo. There was really a different type of look in his eye to me, and he came out. That first throw was high over Tim White's head, and then he kind of settled in as he nice throws and kind of climbed the pocket a bit. But I just, for me, it's definitely advantage for the home team, because you have, I understand that, there's some rhythm there, but the home team has all their facilities, all their stuff there. I think that's an edge, but I thought Hamilton came out a nice start. And, might have had some comfort there that now they got to go back and regroup.
Are you making adjustments? I mean, this is so early. We're a few plays into the game at this point. You're right, though. I mean, converting on second down twice, that's a really, really nice start. For Ottawa, though, even seeing just a little bit of what Bo was throwing at them, change any game plan or just going right back out there doing what you planned?
No, I think that can work advantageously for them as well. Okay, guys, we just gave up 2 second down conversions. We had them where we want them. What are we doing? Got to tighten it up. What does Chris Jones always say? Get up on him, right? And it's like we got to be more aggressive. Let's not be afraid. We got to play everything in front of us, but let's go ahead and challenge these guys and make him make throws. Prove to us that he's got what it takes once again. And
I'm sure Hamilton is a little disappointed because they had some momentum going. This was Bo first time playing since the second week. He's out there. He was positive, optimistic. Things were going this way, and now you get snatched off the field. But he is a professional. He's been in this league long enough.
Question. Is this start should be somewhat expected? Not tonight, but the start for Bo in Hamilton. Shouldn't what we saw in Calgary towards the end isn't the start of this year similar? We're also shocked at how he's played over the first few weeks, and the Titan organization expected different. But it's just kind of what we saw later in Calgary, we're not.
He hadn't played that way since 2018. That was the last time he had a productive year.
I think that's what you're saying. That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying, well,
but the BC game was good at the end of last season when he stepped in. But again, too, it didn't matter at that point. It didn't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
But you think about last year, Calgary sat him down the last 9 or 10 games because they thought, this guy can't get it done anymore. You set him down for Jake Mayer and didn't try to sign him back. So there was something there that he couldn't get it done.
So you're agreeing that you feel that maybe they shouldn't be. We shouldn't all be so shocked. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about this.
And a lot of talk. Whenever I talk to people during the offseason about the transactions that happened and Hamilton acquiring Bo in the offseason, that was the topic. Is he going to find that magic? That he once had in Calgary. And to Milt's point, it goes back to when they spent the travel days on the road in Guelph, and Dave Dickinson on a short week had seen enough, and he went with Jake Mayer from that point forward. And that's Dave Dickinson, John Huffnagel collectively making that decision to on the road to go to somebody else. And you talk about potential Hall of Famer, I think that's almost a given, but the fact is it hasn't been the same. So really good start for Bo, a second time through with the Ticats against the RedBlacks, hottest team in the Canadian Football League right now. And I think it really is going to settle him down.
What's interesting too, when we did the sit down in Hamilton before the season even began, he wanted to compare himself to Ricky Ray. He had something to prove, but we all said it was such a different scenario when it came to Ricky Ray. Ricky Ray wasn't sat down in favor of someone else. Ricky Ray just went to Toronto. I mean, that was a completely different transaction.
Ricky Ray was traded where he shouldn't have been traded.
Correct.
So we'll
and I think the difference is now too. I mean, for Bo, you're right. It's been years where we haven't seen him back to that level, which arguably so. It was absolutely amazing at one point. But I think too, now there's something to prove. Now he wants to go out there so badly to prove that he still can play that way we saw him in 2018.
Without a doubt. And you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself, saying that, you know, I got to get back to what I was. You just want to try to go out there and play your game, you know, because otherwise you'll be pressing, you'll be trying to do too much instead of allowing the game to come to you. Because we saw Bo when he was at his best, the game was just so natural. Bo would walk on the field and he would have that swagger and that confidence, and you would pretty much say, okay, they're going to win this game by how many points? Now you're saying, okay, when is Bo is going to get back to being Bo? And that's difficult for him, I'm sure, to fathom or to hear week in and week out, because he was so great. At one point, he was the greatest player in this league year in and year out. And now we're talking about, is he ever going to get back to that point?
And Kate, to your point about comparing himself to Ricky Ray in the trade, and that was 100th Grey Cup. Ricky Ray, it was the best hired gun scenario I've seen, you know, since being in the league, when Ricky came over and led his team to the promised land with a lot of success. Bo wasn't having that success, like Milt mentioned earlier. Sat down last year in favor of Jake Mayer, and to me, that's a completely different scenario. Yeah, big off-season signing by the Hamilton Tiger Cats hosting the Grey Cup, but they're not getting a Ricky Ray. They're getting a guy that is really had to work out differently, mend his body because he was hurt a lot this last 3 seasons in Calgary, and overcome everybody's talk, everybody's noise about what was happening, including himself, to get over the hump. And that's a big hurdle to overcome. And hey, we're all pulling for this guy.
We
love us some
100%.
But it's tough.
Yep.
Also, guys, we got to all realize, right? At a certain age, you're not going to go back to where you were. So
I don't know. Someone asked Milt today if he was playing in the game.
Yeah.
Right.
I've never seen him look so happy.
Father Time's undefeated.
That's right. Yeah, right. Yeah, Father Time's undefeated. And so the expectations for Bo shouldn't be, can he get back to being the old Bo? He's reached a time, he's reached the age right now where he needs to be a solid, strong quarterback Bo that plays at his best for where he's at right now.
His team win some games.
Yeah, and he can do that.
Yep.
So let's get back to the weather in Ottawa now, because that's why we're all talking so much. But just a torrential downpour, lots of lightning in the nation's capital. The good news is it is supposed to pass. Meanwhile, in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where we currently are, it could not be more gorgeous if we tried. I apologize to all the fans in Ottawa for this one. But let's take a look at Ottawa right now. Oh boy.
It's clearing up.
It is clearing up. Here's the great news. As I said, it shouldn't be more than about 20 minutes of this cell going through. We'll keep you posted on this one. But coming up after the break, maybe we'll chat a little touchdown Atlantic and what we expect tomorrow.
Yeah. Ask Paul Graham if I can wear shorts.
I will.
I don't want to see your legs anymore, Chiz.
Well, the Ottawa RedBlacks keeping busy at this point. Their game against the Hamilton Tiger Cats currently delayed. The Tiger Cats opened the game with the ball. A couple of nice possessions, converted on a couple of second downs. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going after the weather delay. And guys, you know what my backup plan was to sportscaster?
Basketball player, point guard.
Basketball player, but then my next option was meteorologist. We are currently looking at a cell rolling through the nation's capital. The great news is it seems to be going right around the city, so we are expecting in a little bit for this to clear up. The team's coming back onto the field hopefully soon, and then play resuming. But now we are going to get back to Ottawa. You know who worked so hard in the pregame?
Kenzie
Lalonde. She immediately went from Dustin Crum to Bo Levi Mitchell. Well, guess what she's doing right now? Wrangling people for us as well. So let's get to Kenzie, who's standing by with Orlando Steinhauer.
Well, Orlando, another delay. Have you done this before, I assume?
Been part of a couple of these. I think the most recent one would have been, I think it was near a couple hours in Winnipeg one time. Yeah, it's hard to prepare for these things, but it's equal for both teams, and so we'll be ready to go whenever that may be.
Whatever that may be. So in the meantime, what is the message to the guys in the room right now?
Just giving them updates and information about possibly how long it's going to be, making sure that they stay focused and understanding really what it's going to take to, when we go back out and warm up.
The big storyline, of course, having Bo Levi Mitchell starting for you here tonight. How did you see his energy heading into this game?
Very consistent, the same. He was definitely excited. It was good to see him a little bit giddy throughout the week at practice. But other than that, once it came to the game time, he was settled in. He was locked in. And, so we'll see. A couple of first downs there to start, and hopefully we can keep that going.
At the other end with Dustin Crum, and he's not afraid to use his feet. I mean, is it a matter of trying to just keep him in the pocket this game?
Well, we'll see. The game will unfold. Obviously, we know that he's more than a threat, as is proven the past 2 weeks, and he even showed that when he came in relief of Mazzoli at our place. That's just part of his game, and so you're not going to be able to, corral him all the time. That's what he's going to be. But it's when you let him get out, and we got to get off the field on second down.
Thank you for your time. I'm sure we'll connect again.
All right. Thank you,
guys.
Well, it's treacherous weather in Ottawa. It is absolutely spectacular here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I feel like I'm really, really not doing the people of Ottawa a favor by showing them these. Not that it's my control of these shots, but just a stunning evening here at Huskies Stadium at St. Mary's University, where it will host the Toronto Argonauts taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A quick update, this coming from Ottawa, from a meteorologist who has much more experience in the field than I do. Looking at a 30 to 45-minute delay, so stick around with us. This game, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be back soon enough. You just heard Orlando say something that you mentioned in the pregame too, and it was how you saw Bo when he was doing that interview, and he said that he had a very consistent energy, but that he was excited about it, and you really could see it in him.
He was giddy.
Giddy.
I don't know.
I didn't want to use the word giddy, but I'm glad you did again.
I'll take back my analysis on Bo being dialed in if he said he was giddy. But no, look, we haven't seen much yet. We've seen one quarter of football, so for us to sit here and try to see talk about what we've seen thus far, it'd be a waste of time. But I will say that, knowing all of us, knowing how competitors respond, I expect him to be, just like Orlando said, dialed in this week, an extra level of being focused, and that's to be expected.
Giddy? Is his groin and shoulder giddy? That's all I need to know.
Yeah. It looked all right last week.
Accuracy giddy? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, can he respond to everything the game's going to call for him to do? It's one thing to practice full speed and get through those practices. It's nothing to do at game speed when you're really torquing on it and you're not thinking about it. And I think they got past that point. We saw the first couple of 4 plays and 2 first downs, and I really thought that he had settled in quite nicely, and I don't expect that to change. I think the can of whoop has been opened, and he wants to go out there and continue to lay it on the RedBlacks, and I just think that's his mindset. And of course, Dustin Crum's chomping at the bit to get out to do his thing, and I think a game like this, if it's wet conditions and it continues to rain a little bit, that's got to favor somebody with the ground game, and if Butler can get it going, great, but I really think it favors the RedBlacks, and we just hadn't seen them on the field yet.
And Bo has to get it going. He has to get it going. There's so much pressure on this team, and I'm not trying to forecast anything in the future, but if he can't lead this team to victories, they're going to do something because they have to win games. There's so much pressure on this team. We've been talking about the Grey Cup being there. Orlando Steinhardt, I know he's expected to win, and if Bo can't get it done, I believe they will make a change. And like I say, I'm not forecasting
go to a comment made by another coach this week that kind of relates.
Yes,
Dave Dickinson making a comment in the media that if we're to change some things,
we're make
schematically make some change. If those don't work, some guys are going to be gone. And that's you wonder why a coach says those type of things. But that's just the reality. I like the fact he said it because that's just real. It's the same thing going to happen in Hamilton.
Right.
Did you hear what he said too about his players being sick? He says, quite frankly, our guys got to take better
Take care of yourself.
Take better care of themselves.
Take care of yourself.
I mean, the heat's being felt all over the Canadian Football League with teams not winning, and it doesn't matter who you're not unavoidable. You're touchable when it comes to that, and you have to be accountable in this league.
Got to get it done.
Certainly,
only in football because the other sports contracts
are guaranteed contracts.
I was going to say, I don't know if you guys heard about guaranteed money in other places, but needless to say, you know who the heat's not on right now? The Toronto Argonauts. thoughts because of the start that they have had? I mean, all the pressure in the world was them coming into this season. What were they going to do after winning the Grey Cup? How was Chad Kelly going to fare as a starting quarterback in this league? I get it. They've only played 5 games, but Matt, it has been remarkable watching Chad Kelly and what he's done so far. They are a perfect 5-0 for the first time since 1960. Looking to go 6-0 right behind us tomorrow, but he has been absolutely phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, Kate, he has, and so is this football team.
Agreed.
And they came together late last year, and they found a way to get it done. It was Chad Kelly, 3 of 5 in that Grey Cup game. He pulled it down, 2nd and 19, moved the sticks, and then he read the blitz, and then he handed it off to AJ, and that's the ball game. You know, of course, there's a few other plays on special teams that made that game special, but this football team has taken that experience and built upon it, and the rotation that they're doing with their defensive line on top of the way Chad Kelly and that offense is playing. I understand Coxie's not going to be in the ball game tomorrow, so I think that's a big miss for them. See if they can overcome that. You start getting a little adversity in there and seeing how this young quarterback starts dealing with those situations when things aren't going smoothly, right? They're not playing with the lead, or, you know, some tough sledding comes and you're starting to play with different guys in the huddle. And that's when you really start learning about yourself and progressing as a young quarterback. But what we've seen is nothing but spectacular from this young quarterback and this football team coming together.
Swag Kelly. And you talk about the team. Yes, it is a team, but he's the most important piece. It's not even close. I thought he would be good. I didn't think he would be this good right away. It's been awesome. It's been awesome for the Argonauts, for that organization, for the CFL, when this young man he was cocky. He was cocky. Cockiness the same to me.
Sure.
You know, confidence is nothing but cockiness with makeup on. It's all the same. And he steps on the field, but he backs it up. And you got to love it. You got to love it when he steps on the field. He gives his team hope every single game. Has he faced real adversity? When you're playing quarterback, you're facing adversity every single play. So I think he's faced adversity, and he's answered every single time.
If we looked at the Argos last year, it's just been a real change because this is the defending Grey Cup champions. But I don't think that everyone in media in general has treated them like a Grey Cup champion, because really the Winnipeg Blue Bombers were the best team in the league all year for the last several years, and the Argos beat them in the game that counted. And now all of a sudden we're looking at the Grey Cup champion team that is now, you know, probably the best team in the league. So it's really been, even though they're defending champions, this right now is the best Argos team that we've seen in the last few years. And to me, they're playing at a level, and you look at defense. Maurice Carnell, he's not even playing. He might be their best cover guy, and he's not out there. And this is a team full of talent. And they have a lot of talent. They don't always play at the highest level. When you watch them play, they sometimes take, you know, series off, quarters off, but they're a talented squad.
On the flip side, for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, too, it's really interesting watching them in BC, because it's exactly what not that we want to pump our own tires, but we thought, where's this offense going to come from? We know defensively that this team is really great, but with Mason Fine in there now, and obviously dealing with what they have for Trevor Harris, it'll be interesting to see how they respond defensively, though. They've been great, so we'll see how Chad Kelly and company handles that. It is Touchdown Atlantic, the 6th edition, the second regular season game on the East Coast. You can see it all, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And the great news is we are going to stick around. You know, we're just going to stay on set at this point. We might as well just sleep here and then come back. I mean, it'll be great. Lions taking on the Elks. Will the Elks do it? Will they stand alone, owning the longest home losing streak in North American professional sports history? Find out tomorrow. Meanwhile, enjoying some brews. Why not? It's a weather delay. Currently in Ottawa, we're going to get you more information on that and tee up more of the weekend right after this. It's Friday Night Football on TSN. Just an absolutely spectacular evening in Ottawa, Ontario tonight. A rain delay going on, but we don't expect it to last too long. Of course, we'll get you back to TD Place when they resume. But in the meantime, let's get you back to Kenzie, who's standing by with Jalen Acklin.
Well, the most recent update, 30 to 40-minute delay. So, Jalen, can you give me a sense of what the room's like right now?
Yeah, you know, we had the defense just going over kind of what they were running, and they're kind of yelling back and forth at each other. The offense hasn't been out there, so we weren't really doing much. Before you guys grabbed me, I was talking to Crum about, like, poker and if he'd fold an ace-2 on his pocket draw. So, you know, we were just kind of messing around, just trying to, you know, kind of buy time.
And the consensus has kind of been with Dustin Crum that he's so calm and composed. Do you see that?
Yeah, he's really calm and composed. And, you know, I've been friends with him since he was here last year on practice squad. And, you know, just a really good dude and never changes his facial expression, always the same guy. It doesn't matter if he's playing Rocket League or fourth quarter in the game. So really good dude and, you know, looking forward to see what he can do out there.
Let's go back to the start of the game. You, Voshan, Joseph, were having some fun there, exchanging pleasantries. Does that kind of fuel your edge when you start off a game like that?
Yeah, for sure. My mom texted me before not to talk to, but I forgot. So sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, sorry, Mom. But yeah, I was just having fun. I know all those guys over there. I don't really know him because he wasn't there whenever I was there, but, you know, I know Simone, I know all those guys, and all they like to talk. I like to talk too. So just a lot of fun.
When you do look at the Ticats defense and what they have as a whole this season, what are you seeing?
Really good. I know Coach and, you know, the defensive coordinator. I know all the coaches over there, so they're well-coached football team, and they don't make many mistakes. They force turnovers and play physical football, so you kind of got to capitalize on their mistakes if they do ever make any, and, you know, make your plays whenever they come to you.
Last question for you. We go back to the win against Winnipeg. Since then, do you kind of feel like an injected sense of joy and fun now in the crowd when you guys come out here to play?
Yeah, for sure. But even like last year, the crowd was always great. We just had to perform on the field. You know, it's on us at the end of the day, so we got to keep performing and giving the crowds you know, something good to watch.
Well, shouldn't be too much longer, so thank you.
Hopefully. Yeah, thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Look, you just see us on camera, but there are a lot of amazing people behind the scenes who make this production happen. One of them just told us in our ears that looks like CFL Ken, and I completely agree with that. What, Steve, you can't laugh? Everyone's doing the Barbie theme right now. It's a weather delay. We can say whatever we like.
I like it. I like it.
I think Jalen would be okay with that.
To be quite honest with you, he's like, yeah, we're just having fun. Like, he's the most relaxed, cool guy, honestly.
And he won't be mad if I talk about his duster mustache.
No, he's not. We'll have more on Jalen Acklin in just a moment, maybe less about his appearance. In the meantime, let's get to the guys calling tonight's game. Here's Marshall Ferguson and Glenn Suter.
Thank you, Kate. Sounds like everybody's having a great time out there as we are. I just want to take a moment to personally apologize to anybody whose sporting event I end up going to, Glenn Suter, because Canada Day, Montreal, Winnipeg, lightning delay. I was calling that one.
I was wondering whose fault this is.
I went out to Shubenacadie to the Atlantic Motorsport Park last week out in Nova Scotia, and they had torrential 50-year rains follow me to Nova Scotia, and now I'm here and this is happening. So I apologize to you and the entire crew.
Well, we're only about 20 minutes away from warm-up, maybe 30 minutes, as Kate mentioned. So, and I agree with the guys when they were talking about Bo Levi Mitchell coming out and warm up and the way he did. He looked, you know, when we talked to him this week, he had that focus too that I remember back, you know, in the big years, in the years he had in Calgary, and he had that same focus this week. Said it was the little things, the mistakes that the team was making, the penalties they were taking at the wrong time, and he even said, you know, there were times I made the wrong decision in the green zone those first two games that I have to be better at. So, I saw that same focus, and he came out in that first series and looked pretty good.
Yeah, this is some of the shots that we have for you of that first drive. And again, the second down conversions, the confidence in the pocket. But you heard Coach O earlier talking about how fired up he was, a little jittery throughout the practice week.
Well, the first throw was a little bit high over Tim White, but that was the second down completion. And then he stepped up in the pocket, as Matty talked about, and got Butler out of the backfield just to his left. And that's when we had to close things down, a couple of first downs. So, you know, he was fired up. And I want to remind fans, I know there's a lot of people out there that are already retiring Bo Levi Mitchell. They're trying to sort of push him out the door. But let's remind folks of the winning percentage. And no one has a better winning percentage in the league's history over 100 years than Bo Levi Mitchell. 90, 27, and 2. He's a two-time Grey Cup champion. In both those Grey Cups, he was the game MVP, and he's a two-time MOP of the entire league. That's the type of quarterback. He's going straight to the Hall of Fame when he does retire. But I think he's got a lot of football left, and maybe we saw that edge back in this one to begin with tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Bo Levi Mitchell is back in the lineup. Looked good on the most analyzed 4 throws that we've ever seen in his career, because we have so much time. Look at that. He pressed off his left foot and moved foot forward in the pocket. It's great.
Yes.
On the other side, of course, Dustin Crum. This dude has just been so much fun. We've had so much fun talking to him, getting to know him, seeing him emerge out of absolutely nowhere, and the mayhem that he's brought to the RedBlacks football organization in the city of Ottawa.
Yeah, there's a real buzz in this city, and there should be, because this guy's exciting. And, you know, what I like about when we talked to him this week was that Dustin Crum is leaning into the fact he's a dual threat guy. I mean, an overtime win, down by 16 against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and to win in overtime, that was a huge one, and you could see by the celebration. And then they went out to Calgary last week and did it again in overtime, and he had to throw to win there. So in 2.5 games, Dustin Crum is leading all quarterbacks running the football. But, you know, when we see running quarterbacks, even the guys like Damon Allen early in their career and stuff like that, they would say, you know, I run when I need to. And they're great athletes, so they can get it done. But he didn't say that. Dustin Crum told us this week, I want to run. Yep. I look at the field here in Canada and I go, why aren't more quarterbacks running? Yeah. Because there's lots of room when you can get those seams. So he's leaning into the fact that he's a dual threat guy. Yeah, I love when we told him, hey, you know, you're the first quarterback to have basically back-to-back weeks of 90 yards rushing in so many years. And he was like, why? Why does no one else do this? It makes so much sense to be able to run around this field as a quarterback. A lot of interesting football to be played throughout the remainder of the evening here in Ottawa. As you see the shots there, as we get a full breakdown from Glenn Suter. Let's go to the Doppler here as we see a low-pressure system coming in. Looks like from the northwest. That's us right there. Yeah. And I can see that it's going just past us. And we're going to find a seam right down the middle here, I believe. And then in the next 20, this is our spot. This is our groove that we want to get into. And that's the gap. We'll call that the A gap. Yeah. That's our A gap. We're going to slide right through there, and the bad stuff is up here, and the bad stuff is disappearing down at the bottom. So, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to be hired as a weatherman, but hope everybody in Arn, Pryor, and Carp is doing okay right now. You're enjoying the game and waiting it out with us. We're looking forward to a great football game here as we get underway. Sounds like maybe in about 20-25 minutes we'll send it back to Kate and the panel.
And Marshall, great news. Teams are expected to be back on this field the bottom of the hour, and we're expecting play to resume shortly after that. So fingers crossed. By the way, too, completely unfair. They were so much better at being meteorologists than I was because they, you know why? They have fancy tricks. They can draw things on screens.
That's your excuse, Kay?
Yeah, it is my excuse, Milt.
That is weak. No excuses,
give me some technology around
here. Step up. Step up. You're one of these young bucks, and you're out here complaining. That's what's problem with you young bucks.
No. Anyways, let's get back to this. Overall, in the CFL currently, and what the Ottawa RedBlacks have done for the past 2 weeks here, and I get it, back-to-back OT wins, but as we always say, teams that are good find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose, a.k.a. the Edmonton Elks. Has this changed anything for you in the East? Obviously, Toronto is the cream of the crop, but after that, looking at the Alouettes, looking at the Tiger Cats, looking at the RedBlacks, has these wins done anything for you to think that they might make a push the postseason?
Without a doubt, 100%. I think they found their rhythm, and I know it's only been 2 games, but they found their rhythm, they found their groove. Everyone is playing better now that they know they have a quarterback who can step in and get it done. Remember after Jeremiah Mazzoli got hurt, we're saying, here we go again. These Ottawa RedBlacks are going to stink because they don't have another solid quarterback. Then they put in Crum in that game, and he almost leads them back to victory. In the next 2 games, he shows you that he's ready to be a star in this league. They have hope. And when you have a quarterback that brings you hope, you have an opportunity to win in the CFL. So I definitely think they have a great opportunity to make in the playoffs.
Yeah, I look at Cody Fajardo in Montreal. I think that team, when they get healthy, they're going to be tough to contend with. I look at Hamilton; they're not far away because we know that they can rally, and they've got great athletes, and they've been there knocking on the door several years in a row. And this football team, Milt, as you mentioned, with the glue that's holding this together, bringing this together right now, and Dustin Crum, this football team's come together, and they've got it's not hope, they got belief now. They have belief, and they're moving forward on all cylinders. And then Toronto, I think their biggest challenge is themselves from week to week. And can they get themselves up? Can they continue to be professionals? Because that's what we always used to say about Winnipeg. And Davis, you mentioned it a couple minutes ago about how Winnipeg used to be that football team. They got knocked off that altar last year, and Toronto's taken over. And they've seamlessly done it, gone undefeated and come better and better and beaten just about everybody in their wake since then. And it's been an incredible run. So I really believe it's about the process, and that's what Winnipeg was doing so well, was trusting the process. And I loved what I heard from Wynn McManus after the win last week when Shinetti says, how's it feel to be 5-0? And he looked at him and was like, I thought we were 1-0. That's the goal. 1-0 this week, baby. You know, and that's how we roll. And so great business, you know, set him straight. And to me, that is exactly what you have to do. This is what I'm talking about. When you start getting that confidence and you start
19 points behind.
And they came back in that fourth quarter and took it in overtime.
And now it's not hope, it is belief, and that's a big difference in that locker room when you have that.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about belief, and you only get that from being in these situations together, right? And that's that's what they've gained from this. So, you know, their record is their record, but the fact that they've had this turmoil or comebacks and in these situations, that's going to help them in the long run. I want to go back a bit to what Glenn and Marshall spoke on earlier, and that was about
pressure system.
Just the pressure system that Kate's so upset about. But you know, to Bo Levi Mitchell, and you know, some people putting him out to pasture, I think is what the term that suits use. You know, I really believe that us as media and folks looking at Bo right now actually are being kind to
being
him.
polite.
Yes, because
being polite.
We actually give him, because of how great he's been and the accolades he's achieved over all that time. We're actually, if he was a rookie and playing the way he's played the first few games, we wouldn't be talking the way we are. I think if anything, and I think Bo feels the same way. I don't think he thinks that he's played well either. But
he would be the first one to say it.
That's another. But on Ottawa's point, just from Ottawa's standpoint too, they need, like last week, they gave up 9 yards a play. That's not going to get it done. Now, the formula is they were +3 in the turnover ratio. So they've been great. Crum's been a great story, but you can't give up 9 yards per play as a defense, and you need to be up, you know, +3 in the turnover ratio. That's not a formula for consistent wins.
You talked about Montreal getting healthy. The one thing they need to do more than anything is protect the quarterback. They've been horrible at it. We talked about that last game where their quarterback had to be Houdini. He only got sacked 4 times, but there should have been like 7 or 8 sacks. So if they can't protect the quarterback, it's going to be difficult for them to compete. Yes, they have a good, you know, defense. They added the Eliminator. He's going to bring some experience. He's going to help them get to the quarterback. But if they don't protect the quarterback, I don't know how they compete in these.
So that's one solution for the Montreal Alouettes. We need to find many solutions for the Edmonton Elks. Coming up after the break, we're going to be discussing how they finally get a home victory. Still reigning in the nation's capital, but looking up. Update on that as well. It is the East Coast's biggest celebration of football, a sold-out crowd at Husky Stadium at St. Mary's University tomorrow for the second regular season edition of Touchdown Atlantic. We cannot wait. It is a doubleheader on our Saturday slate of games, and it's kicking off with Touchdown Atlantic. You can see the Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on the perfect Toronto Argonauts, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, and then it all wraps up on Saturday with the Edmonton Elks trying again. Another chance at a home victory, welcoming the BC Lions, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. It has been 1,386 days since the Elks' last home win. That was October the 12th, 2019. They have never won as the Elks at home. A chance to break the record for the longest home losing streak in North American history tomorrow. They are currently tied with the St. Louis Browns at 20 straight home losses. The record has not been broken for 70 long years. The St. Louis Browns, by the way, that was their last season after that. They're like, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. We're going to move to Baltimore and become the Orioles. Obviously, the Elks are never going to move, but my goodness, this needs to end for so many different reasons. For the fan base, for the players, for the personnel, for our sake, because we're so sick of talking about this at this point. The only tough part is you get the BC Lions at home. I mean, this is one of the hardest teams to play in the CFL.
You were really passionate right there.
I've talked about it so much. The fact that I can say these statistics off the top of my head is absolutely ludicrous at this point, don't you think?
Right. And if they don't win a home game this year, are they moving to Yellowknife, or is that where they're going to now?
We're moving them. We have to move them.
Yeah. You know what? The one thing, and I'm not trying to make this sound good, but the one thing you got to respect Chris Jones. Through all this, and we've heard coaches in the past who would put it on someone else. He hadn't said that. That's not helping out their case, but he's been saying this is on me. I have to get this done. I have to make sure our guys are ready. I got to put my coaches in place to get it done, and that hadn't happened. But I just want to.
Hey, can I add something to that?
You can add something.
And how many times do we get messages and texts from coaches with stats and reasons as to why they're losing for us to stay on there? We're not getting that from Chris.
We're not getting it from Chris.
So I'm just adding on to that. He takes it.
He takes it. But I want to flip the script and say there's more pressure on the BC Lions. There's no more pressure on the Elks. No one expecting them to win. The BC Lions, who are one of the best teams in the league, if they lose this game, they'll be part of history in a bad way. The Elks, yes, if they win, it's a big deal. If they lose, it's not. The BC Lions can't afford to lose this game because no one is expecting them. So there's more pressure on the Lions, without a doubt. What?
There's more pressure on the Lions?
Yes. I think you go in there and you got a team that's got a 20-game home losing streak. Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure to go in there and get the job done. And Dane Evans being the guy in his first start this season with the BC Lions. Last week he took over for Vernon, and I thought he acquitted himself well. At times he looked like Dane and Hamilton, and a little bit confused. And other times, the 109-yard drive, I think it was fantastic, and it was penalty-aided, and then he got on a groove, and it looked like Dane Evans, a guy who's been there, done that. But Kate, I want to get back to your,
you let Milt off the hook, by the way. That's nice of you.
But
I'm right, son.
But Kate, for this football team, it is trusting the process. The process doesn't change whether you win or lose. The pressures and the outside noise continue to mount as the losses add up, and it has. And we talk about that because that's what we do. But from inside that locker room, they are busting their tail just like the 5-0 Toronto Argonauts are. They are doing everything, trusting the process, going through the game plan, scouring, looking for just tidbits on film of what is going to work for them, what's the indicator for a quarterback in a certain coverage, and they are just going through everything with a fine-tooth comb with the belief that they're going to win. And it just takes a couple of good plays and to break that ice. And then that belief, not hope anymore, much like we're talking about Ottawa, that belief, once you get through and break through the other side and get that monkey off your back, pressure will be relieved, and you can just go out there and say, yeah, we can do this now. And I think they're that close. I really do.
I know where you're going, Matt. Now, real quick, the process has to change. You can't continue losing games and continue doing what you're doing. That's the definition of insanity, right? Then you're going to get different results and you keep doing the same thing. The process has to change.
So the comment, trust the process. If they're losing, you can't trust the process.
No, you can't trust the process. The process isn't working.
Maybe the guys executing the process aren't working.
Well, that's changing the process, though. We're changing the process.
Okay, I will circle back, and I do this. Actually, I'll add to this real fast. The pressure, and we've talked about this so many times. I understand if you lose, you're the team that loses to the Elks. That's a big deal. But BC is rolling. The Elks, all those guys, or 70% of those guys in there, are worried about keeping their damn jobs, including the staff. So, I mean, there's no question that the pressure is way higher on the Elks in this game. But anyway, that's my opinion. We'll stick with that. But to move back, I made a comment last week, and I wanted to circle back. Now we have time because of the delay. But I said about Taylor Cornelius. Yeah. And I said Taylor Cornelius has been terrible. And I look back, I regret saying it, describing it like that, because I don't think that he's been terrible. He's been wildly inaccurate. He's made terrible decisions, but their passing game has been terrible. Their team has been terrible, and I look at how I described what he's done personally, and I don't think he's been terrible. There's been moments where I thought he's been pretty good, but he's been wildly inaccurate. He's made bad decisions. But I think he's taken a lot of blame for a passing game that is really, really bad altogether. And a lot of it comes from the receiver, quarterback,
and the combination,
and their relations, however they got to fix that.
And I respect that opinion. And I think adding to that, Davis, Kevin Brown, last year we saw him finish the season, and it was like, man, cannot wait to see this kid play some football this year. their running game has been non-existent, and Taylor's trying to figure out the passing game. But with the running game, the passing game is much easier, and they haven't had the running game. But that used to be a mainstay before Winnipeg. 7 yards in a cloud of dust took over. It was the Edmonton Elks that led and the Eskimos before they changed their name. It was that franchise that was continuing to dominate the line of scrimmage and the running game from year after year, and that was the calling card. It wasn't throwing the football. Yes, springboarded off of that, and you had success through the air, but it was established in the line of scrimmage, and the Edmonton Elks haven't been able to do that for a long time, and I would like to see them improve there before they can improve in their passing game.
So in this 7.5-minute discussion, I think there's a chance tomorrow. Is that what we're all saying?
I'm saying
there's always a chance, but how much of a chance is it is the question.
Yeah. Well, guess what? No, Ches doesn't think so. I have great news. You know what? I'd love to talk about the Elks more, but guess who's coming back on the field?
Guess who's back?
That's right. Bo Levi Mitchell, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. A couple of great drives to start.
He's giddy.
Coming up.
He's giddy.
Football.
He's giddy.
Ottawa has been thrilling as of late. Not their weather, but their football team. Ottawa became the second team in CFL history to win consecutive OT games last week. Hamilton, though, they've won 8 straight meetings against the RedBlacks, and Bo Levi Mitchell officially back. He hadn't played since week 2 when he got injured against the Toronto Argonauts. He had a couple of really nice drives to start the game, but it was a downpour at that point. He converted on a couple second downs, looked good, but we're not going to break down those 2 plays any longer because that's all we've seen this evening. But coming back into this game, Ches, it's been approximately a 1-hour weather delay. The teams are ready to go kick off, coming back in about 4 minutes or so. What are you looking for at this point from these teams?
I'm not looking for anything from the teams specifically, Kate.
Yep.
My specialty is live betting. So I'm looking now that the game is started and we've started to play the game. I can actually get in a live bet because this is my specialty. Even though we've only seen 4 plays.
So you have an edge on this.
I have a massive edge.
Then you have to tell people.
Live betting, not a sprinkle. Sprinkle's pregame. Live betting, I chuck it in.
Okay.
But I do like the Ticats right now in a live bet, whatever they have.
So that's what you saw on the first drive.
It's near a pick-up. I just look. I'm joking. Usually I see more in a game before I jump in on a live bet. But I do have a feel with Hamilton in this game, and it's let's get going.
Yeah, I look at the Hamilton defense, and we hadn't seen him yet. I'm anxious to see him.
Isn't they were yelling back and forth? Is that what Jalen Ackland said? The Ottawa's defense was yelling back and forth at each other. Anyway,
I could see that happening
after one series.
Yeah, well, both teams on the same side. They're like talking to each other like this, just screaming at each other. I'm just saying. I think Ottawa's defense going to have a chance to settle down because I think Bo was getting a read on him. A couple of second down conversions. Kate, sorry to talk about that again, but I just this anticipation of a good football game here. How it's going to play out. I think Dustin Crum's going to have another good football game, and hopefully Bo settles down because we're all pulling for that guy. And these defenses are hard-nosed and as good as any. I look at the lineup for Hamilton. It's like that. This is Grey Cup caliber defense here. It's got to play like it, right? And I expect to see that play out tonight.
For Hamilton, I want to see what they do in this first half. That's been their Achilles heel. They've been outscored, I think, 108-41 in the first half. And when you get down like that, it's very difficult to come back. So they got to allow Bo to finish this drive and possibly score, and their defense needs to come out and play some great ball. For Ottawa, Bahar and Crum. I mean, is Crum going to come out in his first drive and try to feed Bahar right away? Just get him going right away, because in those first games he started with him. It's been later on in the game. It's been impactful, but I want to see if he can come out right away and get Bahar going immediately.
I want to see Ken. I want to see
CFL Ken.
I want to see Jalen Ackland. That's the guy I'd be leaning on. I understand Crum. He's a great second down conversion guy, but Jalen Ackland to me is just scratching the surface of his abilities, and I think Crum is going to realize that more and more, that he's a go-to guy and a game breaker and playmaker.
Are you going to spy Crum after watching what Cameron Judge did last week, using his legs so much? I mean, you got to think that we're going to see this again.
Well, you set yourself up because the back's going to be uncovering a situation like that. You can slip out, and so you got to pick your poison, and you take one or the other. And from what I've seen from his ability to run the football, I would think that I would definitely keep somebody on him and mirror him across the field, because he's a beast with his legs, and that puts so much pressure on DBs because you're going to man coverage in your zone. Now you can just pull it down because you're dropping back and he's gashing you for big gains and getting down and not getting hit.
Yeah, I would spy, because you look at the one thing that
there he is. We asked for a shot of CFL Ken. We got it.
If you take away, if you spy, then you know where you're losing your guy is on inside breaking routes from your slots. If you have big body slots, that's a problem, because now they have the inside position. It's tough to handle, but they don't. Ottawa doesn't really have a bunch of guys like that.
Hamilton, average yards given up on first down defensively, 8 yards. 8 yards. They got to correct that. And that's why you spy him, because you know he can use his legs, and if he gets those yards, you're in 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. There's no way they can win this game.
But the problem is, too, is that's where the chemistry with Nate Bahar has become, because he spots it, boom, ball gone. So it'll be interesting. You know what? Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Have the same Barbie, now that I think about it.
Have you guys seen Barbie yet?
No.
Haven't seen it?
Oh, you know what? Our fill's over. We can't break down the Barbie movie.
But I haven't seen it.
Sorry, Milt. I know you have.
We're going to all wear pink and dye our hair pink?
Yeah, that works.
Thank goodness. Let's go to Ottawa. Here's football.
As we welcome you to the set of Oppenheimer to change things up from Barbie here. Welcome back, everybody, to the nation's capital. As you see, the weather has cleared out as we promised you. We wouldn't lie to the good people of this nation and beyond. CFL football ready to be played once again in Ottawa.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting restart to the game, because the players obviously go through a routine every game day, as you know, Marshall, and they're down to the second when it comes to warm-up and their pregame meals and how they prepare and going over their checklists and all of their playbooks and everything like that. So right now they're trying to get that focus back. We'll pick up where we left off. Hamilton had the football, but, for the coaches, they're trying to keep that intensity there, because, when you walk on the field, you don't feel like you're touching it at the beginning of a game, and then you sit around for a little while. And in fact, some of the guys in the receiving corps were playing poker down there, as we heard from Kenzie's interview.
Of card games and everything else. Here's the latest Doppler radar for you to be able to bring you the full update of what it looks like. I know there's still scary colors, but did we go toss lead through the A-gap? What do we do here?
Yeah, we did. We take the bad stuff, we pushed it that way, and we're going to hold off this other stuff up at the top here, that red stuff. That's out. We're right in that A-gap, and we're ready to kick it off.
A seal and a kick out, and off we go, as Hamilton has the football with a 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line of the Ottawa RedBlacks. And these delays, never easy. This is, of course, the challenge of summer football, not just in the nation's capital, but at various places around the country. Some of these players a little bit more used to it than others. We'll see how they respond. Welcome back to in-game action, as TD Place is thrilled after a delay to watch Bo Levi Mitchell take the snap with the blitz on right away over the middle, and he completes it. It does go to Tim White. Missed him on the first drive of the game, about an hour or so ago, and hit him on this one.
Well, that break didn't seem to bother White or Bo Levi Mitchell, because this was a tight window to get it in there. It looked like Javon Santos-Knox just overran it a little bit. He's back in the lineup for the first game, and just trying to get his legs underneath him. He just overran that a little bit, and Bo found that seam.
Mitchell staring down some pressure from the boundary. They do fire that way. Don't get home. He misses. Slips high. It's intercepted. Ottawa taking it back the left sideline with blockers out in front. James Butler trying to get a hand. And it was a miss in his return from Bo. Ottawa jumps on the early turnover.
Well, it's blitz, and when Bo reads the blitz, he knows he's got a guy that goes right down the hole, and that's Duke Williams, but he just flat out overthrows him. Overthrows him, and Douglas Coleman says, I'll take that. Any overthrow around the middle, and you're in big trouble. And you could see how much Bo Levi Mitchell misses Williams on this throw. I mean, up over top, and Coleman's taking the other way.
Levi Mitchell trying to track it down in behind with Lorenzo Malden giving him a little bump, as we'll get the first possession here of the Ottawa RedBlacks. Dustin Crum at the helm. They'll begin with 4 receivers into the short side of the field. A different look Go heavy. Crum will pull the football on first down, flips it out. And that is the returning receiver Shaq Evans, incomplete on his first target of the year.
Yeah, first came back, but yeah, let's take a look at Dustin Crum and his over 600 yards passing, as Shaq Evans will be talking to himself about that one. Just get back into the swing of things. 2-0 as a starter, as you know, and he was down on the 2-yard line against Hamilton when he came on for the injured Jeremiah Masoli against the Ticats in Hamilton.
Great 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Crum with a deeper drop, steps forward. He'll use the legs, trying to find somewhere to run. Jameer Thurman introduces himself to the standout quarterback from Ottawa. And it won't be enough as a gain of 8 on the play.
Well, the guys talked about it, and, you know, we're going to look at it very closely to see how Hamilton tries to handle the running of Dustin Crum. He's got enough video on him now that teams playing against him will know that he's going to do this a ton. He loves it. He's leaning into it. He's a dual threat guy. So a couple of things. Hamilton, will they spy? Or will they just try to play sound defense, take care of their own responsibilities, and rally to him? I'll tell you one thing. They want to hit him as many times as they can if he wants to run.
Absolutely. This one, with Tyreek McAllister standing deep in the end zone, will come from about 49, 50 yards away, right in between the two. Richie Leone puts it down quickly. Lewis Ward hammers it, and it's good. Ottawa with the early lead here, as Lewis Ward improves on his percentage of the year. Came in 17 of 18, make it 18 of 19.
Take a look at the last 8 meetings between these two teams, and yeah, Orlando Steinhauer not lost to the Ottawa RedBlacks as the head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Bo Levi Mitchell comes in after throwing his 5th interception of the season. Phyllis Gauthier, the fullback, is in and will go to the ground game. Cutting back right into the tackling arms of Frankie Griffin from his weak side linebacker spot goes James Butler. Let's get a look at the Ottawa defense.
Well, we'll watch the matchup between Lorenzo Malden and Brandon Kemp and see how Malden does in that one-on-one throughout this game. You look at the linebacking core. I mentioned Javon Santos-Knox playing his first game of the season off the 6-game injured list. And then in the secondary, they get Sherrod Baltimore back at corner.
3 on first down. Flags come up on the snap. Mitchell looks over the middle, wide open. Tim White crossing route, crosses midfield, stays inbounds, takes another hit before White goes down. We'll get a look at the penalty. It looks like it's going to be against Hamilton.
We'll take a look. Bo Levi Mitchell just walked straight to where the tackle was made, but they're going backwards.
The wishful thinking from 19.
Yeah.
We hear from Dave Foxcroft, our lead official here this evening.
Offside. Hamilton. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
No number, although it looked like there was some early movement. It's like there was some. Take a look here. It looked like the O-line moved too at the top of the screen, and then you can see the offside right there.
That was Kai Loxley in at receiver, listed as the 3rd quarterback. We expect to see plenty of that here this evening. Former backup in Edmonton. Bo against pressure, looks over the middle. This one completed. It's Abdul Kana wrapping up high on 2nd and long. But it is Keandre Smith hauling it in for a gain of 13.
Right at the sticks. Now, I think this is what, during the break, the panel was talking about with Bo and trying to figure him out. It's just, you know, where is he at right now? Where is he at with his health? Where is he at with his mindset? You know, can he regain some of that, you know, great accuracy and championship caliber quarterback play that he had in Calgary? We've seen a little bit of both already tonight.
Gio McAllister fake the flip there, come backside screen. Butler with a blocker out in front. Walter Woodmans, he gets a body, and in the screen game, it started slow, it ends fast, as James Butler down near the 41-yard line, a gain of 18.
Yeah, a little misdirection to get started here, Marcy. They're going to try and influence the defense one way and then have Butler sneak out the opposite side. So you're going to have a little bit of misdirection. And there's a fake to him. See how Bo turned to the left, tried to look like he was going to throw like a hit screen outside, and then dropped it to number 9. They got to get him more involved. The panel talked about that as well.
Van Soto's Knox, the one that got blocked up by Woodmansey there. They'll hand it off inside to the shifty Tyreek McAllister. Not much doing up front, but trying to get him involved in every little way they can tonight.
Well, there's the first thing. We knew there's going to be some interesting offensive formations tonight. Tommy Condell he's gone down and finding some new formations. We may see Kai Loxley out here as a receiver tonight. You're going to see Tyreek McAllister as a receiver, but we just saw him as a tailback.
Line up this time in the 5-receiver set. McAllister at the bottom of your screen wearing 35. He motions down the line as Mitchell takes the snap against 4-man pressure. Looks into the dig route to Tim White, catches it. Crossing to the 20-yard line and still driving the legs. Tim White trying to set the tone here coming out after the lightning delay.
Well, you know, the read, it looks like, is Javon Santos Knox for Bo Levi Mitchell, because he is working the middle of the field. Whether it's a good throw or a bad one, he's working the middle. Look at Santos Knox moves this way in the screen, and as soon as he sees the linebacker up and moving to the back, he's looking down the middle. Whether it's man or zone, that's the area he's attacking right now.
Oh, making that throw look easy. The same part of the field he threw the interception just a few short minutes ago. Gain of 25 yards for Tim White. This time they'll fake the inside run, flip it out. It's Ron Gauthier with his second catch of the season. Very nearly got to the end zone, but tackled inside the 5. It'll be first and goal, Tiger Cats, after a gain of 11.
Nice looking drive. These are called tendency breakers. Gauthier's not going to touch the ball a whole bunch, and that's why the defense is a little bit surprised by it and have to react to it.
Late substitution here from the Red Blacks as they take out Thomas Schaefer, the big global out of Vienna, Austria. Mitchell in the gun. Takes the snap, looks to throw. Over the top, Duke Williams, jump ball! Touchdown, Tiger Cats! As Duke gets his first in black and gold.
Mentioned off the top, he's their leading receiver. Been the #1 target for whomever's played quarterback for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but hadn't found the end zone just yet. Little throw to the back shoulder in the one-on-one, and that's a matchup that Bo Levi Mitchell will take. It's a big receiver, big, strong receiver. With a decent dance step.
Well, he's got about 6 inches, nearly 50 pounds on Abdul Kana. He finishes off an 8-play, 70-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Here comes Mark Leggio. Misses the extra point as Leggio sends that one wide. Returned by Brandon Dandridge. The Tiger Cats last in the CFL at PAT conversion rate at 71%. Drop that number down, and they will hold at 6-3 the lead with Duke Williams going up over the top of Canna. Goes and gets it, and Bo loves it.
Well, a little inconsistent out of the huddle and restarting this game for Bo Levi Mitchell, but he really settled in that drive. I mean, that was an 8-play drive, 70 yards, took about 5 minutes off the clock, and some accurate throws going after sort of the middle of the field and in between the hashes, and then found Duke Williams, his #1 target, in the end zone for his first TD of the season.
After throwing, let's be honest, was a pretty bad interception.
Oh, and it was you don't have to sugarcoat it. It was a bad overthrow.
He comes back out and goes 5 for 5 for 70 yards and a touchdown. Now the Red Blacks will get a chance to answer. Brandon Dandridge catches this one around his knees at the 10. Big hit right at the point of attack. And the Hamilton special teams unit thriving in coverage this time as Dustin Crum comes back out onto the field. It's been a little while since the Crum back. 19 points. We'll see what he has in store. Well, the Crum back certainly one of the more memorable things that's happened here at TD Place in quite some time. Crum Dog Millionaire, the Crum back Kid, Crum Lumbo. What do you like, Suits? What's your favorite nickname for what the heck has happened with this team over the last couple weeks?
Down by 16 against the Bombers, come back and win that one. And then last week in Calgary, again, another overtime game, back-to-back overtime wins. And in the second one, Crum had to throw for the winning 2 points.
Again here with a handoff inside. It goes to Devontae Williams. Started week 1, missed 3 games, 10 carries last week for 57 yards. Nice to have him in the backfield with a power-running quarterback. Coach Orlando Steinauer, the Ticats, told us he doesn't run just to be able to slide. He runs to score.
Yeah, like a tailback in the backfield when he's out in the open field. So that's what I'll be watching for, to see if Hamilton spies him. Maybe Simone Lawrence will try and mirror him like they did Cam Judge in Calgary.
This time it's Malik Carney wandering around, staring down Crum. Lots of time in the pocket. Thought about throwing it backwards. Now he shovels it forwards to Devontae Williams. Diving forward. And this is what happens, right? So it's when you end up spying, make him make decisions.
Well, exactly. And this is the 007 right here. This is Carney. He's going to be the 007 player. And watch how he mirrors Crum. This is a spy technique. Don't rush the quarterback. Don't drop in coverage. Just spy and mirror him. If he goes one way, you got to track him down. You're in charge of hustling to the quarterback. It's good against the run. It also voids the zone in the pass game.
Interesting, the athleticism of Carney, who's got 3 sacks already on the season, being used as the spy, not wanting to sacrifice one of the linebackers on that snap. We'll keep an eye on it for you as Tyreek McAllister catches this one back at his 25, gets skinny, runs away from 2 arm tackles, now 3, gets to the field and gets wrapped up. It'll be a kick of 56 yards. We've got more on Bo Levi Mitchell when we come back on the other side as the former Stamp makes his return to black and gold. An eventful first quarterback for Bo Levi Mitchell, had his 5th interception of the season. This is 2nd touchdown of the year. For more on the leading man in Hamilton, let's send it down to Kenzie Lalonde. Kenzie?
Yeah, thanks, Marshall. When I spoke to Bo yesterday, he had said it's, whether he plays or doesn't play, wins or loses, he'll always judge himself on how well he prepares. So he spent some time over the 4 games he missed really learning this offense. He went back and watched some tape of how some former Ticats QBs worked in this system. He looked at Masoli tapes, Zach Claros and Dave Evans as well. And Bo really leaned on Matthew Schiltz, who has that extra year in this system, and really leaned on him to see how he reads some of these plays. And as we know, they'll get a little creative here tonight, so we'll see how him and Tommy Condell continue to work together this season.
Yeah, in fact, we heard that we may even see a little Taylor Powell tonight as well.
Tommy Condell calling it down to Bo here tonight, the Tiger Cats offensive coordinator. He'll call a passing play here on first down over the top. Going off schedule again. They tried to get the fullback, Ron Goche, down the shooter. Was McAllister trying to steal it?
Yeah, it almost looked like it. You don't normally see 2 players in that same area that close together. You're trying to spread the field, trying to make sure you have lots of room in between guys so one defender can't cover both of you. And again, just missing that deep. Just too far for one and too short for the other.
Leaves them with 2nd down and 10. Hamilton's 7th best in the CFL at converting on 2nd and 7+. Just 32% of the time. They get a blitz look. They will pressure. Underneath the hot red. It goes to Terry Godwin, and he'll have enough for the first down.
But this is recognition first from Mitchell. I mean, he is not flustered by this. He's seen it 100 times. He knows the blitz is coming. He can't block them all. So he's just got to go to his hot read as he's retreating.
We were here about a month ago, Suits, and saw Jarrett Daggy go 0 for on 2nd down conversions in the first half against this RedBlacks defense. Bo right now in the Tiger Cats 5 for 5 on 2nd downs converting. They'll have to do it again after a minimal gain on first down with the running game.
Yeah, it was a good discussion by the panel and talking about how, I think a lot of people analyzing Bo Levi Mitchell in his career now have been actually nice and courteous and respectful, I guess, is the best way to say it. Because he, at the end of last year when he lost the job in Calgary and the beginning of this year in his first 2 games, just hasn't looked like the old Bo. But I think he's got a lot of football in him. And keep in mind, his first 2 games were against pretty good defenses, yes. Winnipeg and Toronto.
On the road in Winnipeg. Not an easy way to start your time. Jeremiah Masoli knows that as he did it for Ottawa. This time Mitchell floats one up on a corner route. It's up for grabs and incomplete. Looking down the field for who else? Kai Loxley, the 3rd-string quarterback, playing at receiver.
Yeah, we were given the inside information that we might see some interesting formations, and the 3rd-string quarterback may be out there at the receiver position. Kai Loxley's done that before. He's a great athlete, and Mitchell was looking for him to win that jump ball.
Sends out the kicking unit as Brandon Dandridge back to return. Kick by Bailey Flint. Nice high spiraling boot. Drops all the way down inside the 5. Dandridge will pick it up from there. And tracked down from behind by a host of Ticats tacklers. Carthel Flowers Lloyd and his 12 special teams tackles coming in. Was all over it as Dustin Crum comes back out as we look at the Ottawa offense.
Well, I put Jacob Ruby up there because apparently the O-line has been giving him a lot of the nicknames. So I figured that he'd be leading that chorus, and there were a bunch of them already after just 2.5 games. But Nate Bahar's become his #1 target, and Shaq Evans is back in the lineup. First game for Evans.
Yeah, great to see Shaq back. Unfortunately has a drop already early on in this one, as he'll split out to the top of your screen wearing #1, #2 Justin Hardy right next to him. Already 50 targets on the season coming in to tonight. Crum flips the rock, flips his hips, and nearly throws an interception. Trying to find the simple stuff, but put it in the wrong spot. Richard Leonard almost jumped all over it.
Let's take a look at the Cats starting defense. Malik Carney, we've already seen he's a great athlete at defensive end, and now they've actually had him spy Dustin Crum in the last series. And then there's Kyle Wilson starting in the middle for Jameer Thurman. We'll see both. And then in the secondary, they bump Richard Leonard out to corner, and Tunde Adeleke is going to play the halfback.
2nd down and 10. Dangerous situation here for Ottawa. This time Jameer Thurman spies Crum. A race to the edge. Crum tries to cut back. He's wrapped up by Stavros Katsantonis. It'll be short of the yardage required, but they are mixing and matching, trying to figure out who can track down Dustin Crum after a gain of 5.
Yeah, and that's going to open up some zones in the passing game as they, this game evolves. We'll see how the Red Blacks make the adjustments because, yeah, you've seen Carney, and that was Jameer Thurman. He was hugging the line of scrimmage so that he could chase down Crum. So not giving a steady diet of one guy spying. A couple of double agents in there.
A shot there, Mark Washington with that defense. Last in the CFL at points allowed, but doing a good job through the first quarter. This one falls down, goes to McAllister, and quick once again. Gets north-south so speedily as that is the end of the first quarter. A 55-yard punt returned across the 55 for Tyreek McAllister. We had a rain delay, lightning delay, weather in the area. It's cleared out. The fireworks continue with the second quarter when we return to Friday Night Football. After a very long first quarter of play, your score 6-3. The Hamilton Tiger Cats just 5 passing yards right now for Dustin Crum, as he hasn't really had many opportunities to get the legs going either. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, Bo Levi Mitchell, and it was a slow start after the lightning delay, but he is starting to settle in and look a little bit more like himself.
I don't want to give excuses or anything like that. A couple of those bad throws, the interception, the overthrow, I mean, it's been pouring rain, and maybe it was just a slip on one of those throws anyway, but I think he's settling in. I mean, that throw to Duke Williams for the touchdown, a big one. And, again, his resume speaks for itself. So I think Bo's settling in. Now, Crum, on the other hand, 2.5 games played. Now they're going to have to figure out how to exploit the fact that linebackers are hugging the line of scrimmage, or a defensive end is going to spy him.
The difference between working around it and using it to their advantage. We'll find out when Ottawa has possession. Right now, it's the Tiger Cats with a toss play on 1st and 10 to begin the second quarter. There's Lorenzo Malden all the way out to the sideline making a play.
He's been a little nicked up the last couple of weeks, but still getting it done. And to me, rush ends like Lorenzo Malden are worth the price of admission. You could sit at a ball game and watch Lorenzo Malden just go to work and just focus on that and enjoy your night.
Yeah, he is fun. Doesn't matter if he's pass rushing, getting out to the sideline. Stacks up Butler that time after a gain of just 2. 2nd and 8. Mitchell, deep drop, looks underneath, crossing route from McAllister right at the line of scrimmage, and it'll be a loss on the play as the Ottawa defense, Javon Santos, knocks all over it after spending the last 2 years in Hamilton.
Well, guess who was right in his face? Lorenzo Malden is coming off the edge, and he is so quick in his bull rush here against Brandon Kemp that Bo sees him immediately, or at least feels him right there in his kitchen, and just dumps it off to Tyreek McAllister as quickly as he can.
So get a look there at the ability of Lorenzo Malden. Breakout star last year. Again, we always forget this as well. Former Hamilton Tiger Cat. Like we're talking about Carriel Brooks in the lineup, Javon Santos Knox. Lots of former Hamilton players with Ottawa after Sean Burke comes over to become general manager and brings a plethora of players with him. But Lozo might be the best amongst them. He has been great for them. Flint drops this down inside the 20-yard line. Coverage unit all over it again for Hamilton tonight. They are flying around. As we get a chance to hear from Bob Dice, the head coach of the Ottawa RedBlacks, on the experience of coaching Dustin Crum.
He's just an honest, hardworking guy who just wants to get better at everything that he does. And it transfers through to how he plays. You know, he works so hard in the film room. He's a great communicator with the receiving corps. And then when he gets out there, probably the most surprising part of his game was getting to see how mobile he was. And he does a great job of it.
Snap comes up here. A little bit off kilter. Doesn't matter. Right down the chute goes Devontae Williams. And a big gainer on the ground. Nothing new for the RedBlacks.
Well, it's also the threat of Crum running on the outside that's going to open up inside run lane. So this is a play that, you know, I'm sure Ottawa will go to the well on a bunch, because you've got to stay wide in containment on Dustin Crum because he can get the edge so quickly. So those run lanes between the tackles are a little bit wider.
Gain of 19% of rush attempts for the RedBlacks go for 10 or more yards. This time Crum pulls it, swings back inside, tries to make a man miss, and everybody is there in the bright yellow pants to stack him up and throw him back.
Same play going the opposite direction, and it's going to be the athletic Malik Carney that causes the problems. He's going to come up and get in the right contain mode. So it's the same type of play where either Crum can give it there or pull it. He pulls it, and he doesn't pull Carney down enough, so he slows him down. And then as you can see, they want to get hats on the football.
Leaves him with 2nd and 7. Blitz is on. 6-man pressure from the Tiger Cats over the middle. Justin Hardy completes, turns the legs inside the Hamilton 50.
So here's how you can exploit it. And when we talked to Bob Dice about Calgary spying Crum with Cam Judge and the anticipation that Hamilton might do the same with a variety of players, it looks like tonight, well, you're voiding a zone over that middle, especially if you're using a linebacker to mirror him. So they're okay with the spy technique.
Justin Hardy, once upon a time at Eastern Carolina, the all-time leader in NCAA career catches. Adds another one to his CFL career tally here. Crum takes the run steps forward, pressure on. Thurman trying to chase him down. Now he's one-on-one against Simone Lawrence, and Lawrence rides him out of bounds, running towards the right sideline. And and a big hit there after the play. Drew Desjardins didn't like it at all.
Well, that's what I mean about early on. Clearly, the Hamilton defense have said if he runs, everybody's got to get a shot at him. So hustle and go. Now, not talking about a dirty shot. I'm not talking about breaking the rules. The question is, was this too far out of bounds with Simone Lawrence? That extra little push. And then here comes the protection.
And no penalty out of bounds. No unnecessary roughness call against Drew Desjardins. Play on. 2nd and 8. Crum with the blitz on. Pumps. Now he'll throw. Gets blasted. And this one out of bounds behind the play as Crum picks himself up off the turf and a flag is down.
He took a big hit there. And was just trying to throw that away. Thurman steps around and then takes Crum to the ground. That was him just running out of options and saving the loss.
Cut block, Ottawa. That's a 15-yard major foul. It'll be applied after the play. 3rd down.
Crum holding that right hand underneath the towel a little bit. Yeah, there's a little bit of blood coming off that back of the right wrist.
Yeah, when a defensive lineman or linebacker's engaged with the O-line, the running back and or watch the running back here. It looks like it is the guilty party. This is Williams with a cut block with a D lineman engaged.
Richie Leone will send it away. Hammers this boot through the Ottawa night sky inside the 10. McAllister back out to the 15-yard line. A 52-yard boot. As we got a fun one going back and forth. The legend Bo Levi up against the kid Dustin Crum. Home for exclusive coverage all tournament long. Really looking forward to that one. And for RedBlacks fans, that's not a small abrasion on the back of Dustin Crum's right hand. Throwing hand, of course. We'll see how he adjusts as Bo Levi Mitchell goes back to work. Wide open. It's Terry Godwin cutting back at his own 40-yard line. Gets whacked.
That's what I mean about him settling in. Bo Levi Mitchell with the flick of the wrist. This is what we've seen for so many years, those MOP type years where he steps back, short side of the field, flick of the wrist, and right between the 1 and the 7. On time, on the money.
Nice one that time for Bo. He was 1 of 5 with the interception on passes of 15 yards or more before that pass. Up those numbers. Here's Ty Loxley. Little quarterback run package coming straight at you. And the Ottawa defense extremely ready for that. We talked to some guys around the team, Glenn. They expected to see all of that when they saw Kyle Loxley on the roster coming into tonight.
Yeah, he's going to line up right at quarterback, and then basically he can throw from there too now. So that's, I'm sure Tommy Condell has that extension. And Bo Levi Mitchell, what does he do? He goes out and he says, I'm going to go play wide out. And you're just talking over there to Baltimore's. How's it going?
Two carries, 8 yards on the season for Bo.
Probably won't block you. I'm just out here hanging out.
This time he goes back to his natural office. Over the middle. Incomplete. Great drive that time. Coming downhill and making the play. It's the former Ticat who takes a look at the Hamilton bench on his way past. That's Carriel Brooks.
Yeah, that's just a great close. Great close on this dig route. I mean, this is a downhill, out of the cannon type close. Seen Danbridge do this a couple games in a row and come up with big plays. Carriel Brooks back in the lineup.
5 years in Hamilton, a CFL All-Star in 2021. A tone setter at boundary half for the Tiger Cats. They're happy to have him here in Ottawa now. He forces the punt. Dandridge will return it. Back across the 30-yard line. Look at that downfield, making the tackle. Sean Thomas Erlington as Nate Bahar connecting with Dustin Crum and the Red Blacks' success. Kenzie Lalonde has more on him when we return to Ottawa. There you see the London, Ontario native Nate Bahar really catching on here with the Red Blacks over the last couple of weeks. For more, down to field level, here's Kenzie Lalonde.
Yeah, Marshall, Nate may know TD Place better than anyone. After his freshman year with Carleton U Ravens, well, he interned with the Red Blacks during their inaugural season. He joined front office to start off in his first year, where he worked with the scouting department. Jeremy Snyder, in particular, he typed up his Excel sheets. Then the following year, well, he teamed up with the equipment department. Former manager RJ James, well, teamed him up with the receivers. He put out drills, the cones, and also threw the ball sometimes. And well, the receiving coach at the time was Travis Moore, and Moore is back, so the two are reunited, but Bahar no longer an intern, but a reliable receiver.
Thank you, Kenzie, as Dustin Crum goes for a jog, decides to slide down, and Richard Leonard leans over the top. No flags down on the play. They deemed that Crum gave himself up too late there, Suits.
Well, they've kept the flags in their pockets for a lot of these hits that have been close. This one not as close as the one out of bounds where there was no flag, not even for the retaliation, which is a little bit surprising. But I think I just said I'm looking for more flags. I'm not. that's I'm never looking for more flags. So let the guys play.
Physical hit over the top that time from Leonard, but it is a gain of 4. Crum looking to throw, and he'll get brought down in the backfield. Can't hold on that time, as he's taken 14 sacks in 2.5 games, and now a skirmish breaks out in the backfield as they separate.
Yeah, you know, Marsh, Hamilton, you've seen this kind of thing before. Hamilton is definitely trying to give him that little extra bit. It sometimes it's a little late, some are just a little bit past. Let's put it this way. Hamilton right now is playing to the echo of the whistle. And when you play to the echo of the whistle and your offensive linemen see that you're maybe taking a little bit of liberties on the quarterback, they're going to step in. This is going to escalate quickly.
2 penalties on the play. Player misconduct fouls, 15-yard penalties. Number 5, Hamilton. Number 61, Ottawa.
So they're
offsetting. It'll be 3rd down.
And you know, for the record, in all seriousness, I think the officials have managed this really well early on. I mean,
100%.
You know, they know that Hamilton has got a running quarterback they're trying to deal with. They're going to try and hit him every time he gets in the open field. And by the way, he doesn't have the protection of the pocket out there when it comes to the rules. And the offensive line now has to just concentrate. Don't overreact and don't retaliate.
What I love is Dave Foxcroft has officiated this like an NHL playoff game. Let him play for the first couple of times. You whack around the goalie, and then you say, you know what, guys? I gave you the first period to figure it out. Now I got to get involved.
Yeah. Managed it well so far.
It drops down to the 30-yard line. Blown backwards. Another flag down in behind the play. As we get a look at the tackle made by Gary Johnson Jr. and the sack that brought down Dustin Crum. The offense got to get going here for the Red Blacks as they trail 6-3. Back on the Amazing Race camp.
Well, there'll be a thunderstorm if you do.
It'll follow me across this great nation. I apologize to anyone whose game I'm calling. For the next couple of weeks of summer football, there might be a storm nearby. Well, Levi Mitchell takes the snap in the gun. Pressure on over the middle. Bounces off the hands of Kai Loxley. They went back to him again. He's got a couple of targets, a rushing attempt. Can't hang on to that one.
Yeah, he's a great athlete, but he hasn't done this for a bit now. I mean, he was a backup and third-string quarterback in Edmonton. Played a little bit last year at receiver. Caught a few passes there, but should have had that one.
Bo's got 11 completions, 7 different receivers. He's used Garon Gauthier, the fullback. He's gone to a guy who's listed as a third-string quarterback for a completion as well, to Loxley. See what he does here on 2nd and 10. Fades to his left away from the pressure. Finds Terry Godwin churning in his legs down the sideline. And it will be a first down as Godwin pops up onto his feet after a gain of 18.
You do a lot of radio in the country, across the country throughout the week. I do as well. And QR77 in Calgary's Jock has given me a heads up that Bo Levi Mitchell is not wearing a throwing glove that he started the game with. And that's an adjustment that the veteran has suddenly made. He always was throwing with that glove, and it's been more accurate without it.
Goes left to right this time, holds onto the rock too long, and down goes Mitchell. That's Bryce Carter getting home for his 5th sack of the season.
Working on Brandon Kemp up top, and it's going to be a bit of a bull rush. He pushes him back and then slides underneath. A little push there and then comes right underneath. And good active hands keeping Kemp off him. That's what they do when they brush their chest, is saying, yeah, you can't touch me, man.
RedBlacks getting a sack on nearly 10% of opponent dropbacks. That's 2nd best in the CFL. Their pass rush has been great. The rain's starting to fall once again here at TD Place. Bo Levi Mitchell, without that throwing hand glove, steps up, throws down the middle of the field. It's almost intercepted. Carriel Brooks should have had it as Mitchell went into triple coverage.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is it. You know, glove or no glove, this was a decision. And the decision wasn't a good one because Duke Williams is the front of this 3 receivers into the boundary, and he's just going to run this seam route. But you're right, there are Ottawa defenders. Look at all 3 of them just going. Again, 2 Hamilton receivers in the same place. That brings coverage into the football, and they really should have had the pick there. That was just a poor decision by the veteran.
Well, in and up from Duke Williams. Maybe a square peg round hole, trying to fit that home run shot in. On 2nd and long, falls to the turf, incomplete. They can still flip the field with the punting game. Bailey Flint, end over end. He'll take a big hop. Dandridge picks it up back at his own 23-yard line. Makes the first man miss. And then the Tiger Cats are there to finish it off, as Bailey Feltmate will get the special teams tackle. As there you see Dustin Crum and quarterback rushing leaders this season. He's only played 2.5 games, and look at him way out in front.
Yeah, in fact, in one of the weeks that he has been a starter, and there's been 2 of them, and then he took over in the Hamilton game, that 3rd one, so 2.5 weeks. But one of those weeks, he was the leading rusher in the entire league, including tailbacks. But clearly, among quarterbacks, is the leading rusher quickly. However, Hamilton has contained him nicely so far tonight.
Conversation between the 2 teams' benches after that special teams exchange. They'll separate themselves. Dave Foxcroft whistles it in. Shaq Evans in motion to the bottom of your screen. Crum looks run, now flips it out. Justin Hardy makes the grab and popped out of bounds right there by Kenneth George Jr.
You know, but I think what's been interesting for Dustin Crum, we've talked a lot about his running, and he's been great at it, but he's a smart guy, and he had to throw to win in Calgary for the 2-point convert to Nate Bahar, and almost take advantage of the defensive technique that he was faced, so he can evolve as the game goes on. He's a aeronautical engineer major.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, that's a rocket scientist, isn't it?
He'll pull it this time. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. That was a good read on Jameer Thurman. But he is brought down short of the first down marker. I loved what Orlando Steinauer said this week about him. Said the quarterbacks, the young ones that survive in this league, what do they survive? Injuries and game plans. Right now, Crum's up against it with the game plan.
Yeah, now they've got to try to evolve. It's pawn to king 4, king to rook 7, and let's continue. And now ball security becomes more important when you see that downpour.
Thankfully, no lightning in the area, but certainly the sky's opening up once again as Tyreek McAllister stands back, staring down Richie Leone. And it is really coming down out of nowhere. Leone kicks what's got to be a 10-pound football at this point. Drops down with a flag down. Likely no yards around. And we have hit the 3-minute warning in an entertaining 6-3 first half. Get the ponchos out. Where's the poncho?
Well, it's it's raining in Ottawa. It's still spectacular here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I feel like I'm really rubbing that in this evening, but we've got all your breakdown of the first half. Good, bad, bow, good bow. We're going to show you it all coming up right after this.
Thank you, Kate. At this point, we might be able to take a boat straight up the Rideau all the way out to St. Lawrence and come visit you tomorrow for Touchdown Atlantic.
Nightcap.
Mitchell on 1st and 10 inside the 3-minute warning, hands it off. Butler tackle for loss. Well done that time. Frankie Griffin, he is a specialist at bringing down ball carriers in the backfield. Gets another.
Yeah, playing the run on 1st down. They brought Tim White in, try and get some protection help. Duke Williams as well on a kick-out block, and Duke got his man. It was Lorenzo Malden that crashed down. Shooting through that gap.
Last 9 drives have all resulted in punts. Tiger Cats trying to prevent that here from moving to 10. McAllister splits out to the left. Mitchell looks to throw. Pressure on over the middle. Duke Williams. It's hop steps. And that's a heck of a matchup, Suits. We're starting to see develop as we head into the second half. Duke Williams against Carriel Brooks.
Yeah, Carriel Brooks didn't start the game, but he is getting a lot of playing time now, and this is just basically a loose man as they pick up once they declare in that 3-receiver side into the boundary, and Duke Williams becomes the seam guy. Carriel Brooks shoots it. What a new set of downs for Bo Levi Mitchell.
Duke came in averaging 16 yards per catch. Gets 15 that time and moves the chains. Mitchell with the pressure on, steps forward, floats it underneath. Tim White will get wrapped up after a gain of a couple.
Loxley to the wide field there, and getting a last 3 series we've seen Kai Loxley in the offensive lineup. We're promised a little to Tyreek McAllister as well. I'm looking forward to that. I think any football fan would.
And to be honest, we were also promised a little bit of Taylor Powell, and even after the early interception, haven't seen any of that. Bullpen has not been warmed up whatsoever on the Tiger Cats sideline. Bo Levi on 2nd and 7, looks out to that short side, complete. Terry Godwin catches it, casually steps out of bounds. Was it the Nürburgring? What was that? Great F1 race coming up for you in Belgium tomorrow. Spa-Francorchamps, looking forward to that one. Right here on TSN, as the Tiger Cats looking to punctuate this first half in their 6-3 lead with more points. Yeah, look for the quick screen, get it out to McAllister. They scored against Ottawa with this play back in week 5, and McAllister nearly took it to the house again.
This was the exact play, and it was well blocked up. He's in the quads, so 4 receivers to the short side of the field, 3 receivers up front just to block. Duke Williams gets his, a little kick out inside, and then a little block down for the inside pursuit, and McAllister down the sideline. It was a 65-yarder for a touchdown against Ottawa. Saw that great speed, pushed out of bounds there.
Douglas Coleman there to save the day for Ottawa. 1 minute remaining. Lots of motion here late from the Tiger Cats as they're confused on their lineup. Lots of moving pieces. Blitz is on, and a flag comes up. It'll be a time count. And back the Tiger Cats offense up.
Yeah, Marsh, you nailed it.
Time count violation. Hamilton, number 19. The penalty is loss of down. 2nd down.
You know, that's the downside of really changing up your lineup and putting new guys in there like Loxley and McAllister, who's been a great returner and played a little bit of offense, as we mentioned that Ottawa game, but occasionally you get one guy lined up in the wrong place. That's not going to happen, and the play isn't going to work, and Bo was trying to get him organized.
Bo Levi Mitchell's return. He's on pace for nearly 50 passing attempts here in Ottawa tonight. Letting them zip it around. As again, he communicates, tells Kai Loxley to get on the line of scrimmage, acquired just a few short weeks ago. Pressure look once again from Ottawa. They bring it, Bo Bates to his right, throws it to the end zone, incomplete. And Ottawa's defense forces the issue on second down after the time count.
After that play, Marsh, Kyle Loxley kind of patted himself on the head. I'm not sure if he didn't run the wrong route. And it was Loxley and McAllister that looked like they may have had a little bit of issue trying to sort things out. Well, now he's pointing to himself going off the field. He was on a crosser going away from the roll. Basically not an option for Mitchell, rolling out to his right, and he was way off to the left side on a crossing route.
A lot being thrown at number 89 as out comes Mark Leggio. Missed the extra point earlier. He hasn't missed any field goals so far this season. 15 for 15 as Bailey Flint gets it down. And he's still perfect on the year after being acquired, after getting let go by Winnipeg.
So they got Lobster out there. They've got Lobster under the desk.
I didn't know garlic fingers were a thing. Kenzie said that earlier on. Kenzie's giving me the thumbs up from down the field. Garlic fingers are an East Coast thing? I knew the lobster. I know about the donair. I know they got all the good stuff out there. Maybe she found a little bit of lobster here in Ottawa. Kenzie, garlic fingers are a thing on the East Coast?
It's all about the garlic fingers, Marshall, and specifically honey garlic fingers. I recommend the panel orders them immediately. They'll change everything.
I was just in Nova Scotia for a week. I didn't have a single garlic finger.
I had some lobster rolls when we were up there last year, I'll tell you that.
Dustin Crum, pressure on, up high, Carney got him. And a sack once again for Malik Carney. Came in with 3.
Yeah, Malik Carney's had a big first half. You know, he's done a nice job in containing Crum. He's asked to spy a couple of times. There's a spin move with 3-man pressure, and getting home with 3-man pressure, you should have a lot more time than that. But he made it into a one-on-one off the edge, and a great spin move got there. Good half for number 5 tonight.
See the Ticats in prevent defense here on 2nd and 15 with 30 seconds remaining. And again, the pressure comes from behind. Add it to the tally. There's number 5 with another.
Well, I tell you what, he's again 3-man pressure. He turns into sort of 4 because there's a trailer. But look at the 3 men. They're not hiding anything, giving a lot of room so they can't get beat deep on the last play of the half kind of scenario. But this time he went spin move inside. This time he rips that right arm through and goes around the horn to get there for back-to-back sacks.
Hamilton just called timeout as well with 26 seconds left. Why wouldn't you? You just ended up getting some points on the board. You get back-to-back sacks. Now you get the football back, and maybe they can turn it into something more.
And Malik McAllister back as your punt returner. That's automatic field position.
We'll see what McAllister can do here as Richie Leone plans his attack. Sends some pressure. Leone gets it away cleanly. Drops down to McAllister at his own 30. And Alonzo Adai, great special teams tackle downfield as the gunner on a 51-yard punt.
Well, there's time. I mean, he took the glove off. I mean, he's done that before when it's been a little bit wet, but he took the glove off and has been more accurate, but we've seen some errant throws as well. The return of Bo Levi Mitchell to the starting lineup, but there's no question Coach Steinauer's mind who the number 1 quarterback is. That's why they brought him in. He's their guy. He's their best chance to win. They also have the injury situation to deal with. But it was like, as long as he is healthy, Bo Levi Mitchell is playing.
So they recreated the movement that caused the injury back in week 2 a lot before he got here. They'll empty it out. 6 wide for Bo. Looks down the middle of the field, and Butler on a seam route, and it's intercepted. Abdul Canna brings it across midfield. A big block springs him down the sideline, and he's driven out into the Tiger Cats bench.
McKenna is a veteran, and he baited this throw. It's been a couple of times now that Bo Levi Mitchell has tried to go down this seam. It's been a couple to Duke. Looked like it was James Butler going down that seam this time, but Kenna just baited him. Made it look like he was open, and then with the ball in the air, snatched it and cut underneath.
Tim White and Duke Williams right there to finish it off at the end of the play. 20th career interception for Abdul Kanna, 18th here in Ottawa as he spent some time with Hamilton as well. And we just talked about, well, maybe Hamilton can take the momentum and turn it into something. Hello, Ottawa.
That's the final 3 minutes of Canadian football, either in the final 3 of the first half or the final 3 of the game.
As they will send out Lewis Ward.
By the way, 10 of the last 12 games coming into this week decided in the final 3 minutes.
They'll set down the kicking tee at the 40-yard line for Ward. 95% on the season. Hammers this one, low line drive. And out of thin air, it's 3 more points on the board for the Ottawa RedBlacks, as very reminiscent of the way that Ottawa has been able to flip the script the last couple of weeks in moments where you think that there's no chance they can create any sort of enthusiasm. They got a couple of big plays.
A good game plan defensively to try and contain the running of Dustin Crum in this first half. And I thought Malik Carney had a huge first half, couple sacks, but he's also done a nice job on containment, trying to chase him down. We saw early on he was spying.
He has mixed it up. He is standing at field level with Kenzie Lalonde.
I think we've been able to certainly contain Dustin Crum here tonight. He's sitting at around 60 rushing yards in particular. How pleased are you with this effort?
I already knew what we was going to come out with. You know, we've been working hard all week. Continued effort. We know that he likes to get vertical, put his foot in the ground, and run. So we're just doing our best that we can contain him and do our job. 2
sacks for you. So what are you seeing?
I'm seeing another 30 minutes to the game. So just continue to keep my head straight and keep balling.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Kate, I'll send things back over to you and the panel in lovely Halifax.
Yes.
And once again at St. Mary's University, beautiful Huskies Stadium, getting ready. The eve of the Toronto Argonauts taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders for the 6th installment of Touchdown Atlantic, the 2nd regular season game being played here on the East Coast. An absolutely gorgeous view and an absolutely gorgeous night in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Once again, sorry to everyone in Ottawa this evening. Back alongside David Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Steele, in a fascinating first half between these Tiger Cats and the Red Blacks. The story coming in was the return of Bo Levi Mitchell. He got a couple series. It was a weather delay, and then back on the field. We've seen really good things from Bo in this first half. I mean, he's got 215 yards in this football game. But then on the flip side, the mistake that just happened at the end of the half, which albeit I think you guys can debate that whose fault that was, but good Bo, bad Bo.
There's no way, if you look at the stats, this game should be 9-6.
No.
Talk about Bo, and he's dominating. Ottawa's defense is, Hamilton's defense is crumbling Crum, but then Bo Levi is once again finding himself in positions to give the opposite team an opportunity to stay in this game. And as we mentioned, Bo, you know, he's coming back after missing 4 games. I know he wants to come in and make a difference, and he is, but then he has some opportunities where he's making some mistakes, and you can't do this. We know Crum and this Ottawa offense in this second half, they're going to come back, and they're going to make some changes. They're going to adjust. So Bo just has to stick in the game and continue playing well, and when those mistakes have to be eliminated. Otherwise, it's going to be tough in the second half.
He's got 215 yards. He should have 415 yards right now. There's guys wide open all over the field. So Tommy Condell is calling a good game. Bo, for the most part, is finding open receivers. I mean, he's thrown some passes that he shouldn't try, but for the most part, he's finding open receivers. But he's just not throwing the ball accurately. He's throwing it high, he's throwing it late. On that one there, and Matt pointed it out, you saw on the sideline, he'd point to like a receiver wasn't going for the ball, he's waiting for it. And he does right there. You see, if that ball's underthrown, but the receiver can still, when he sees it underthrown, get your body in front of that DB. If your quarterback is not accurate right now and he's struggling a bit, help him out by going and putting your body in front of it. So, look, it's shocking to see. I never played quarterback, but the good quarterbacks I've been around, the great ones I've been around, like Bo, they make most of these throws.
Yeah, Davis, I agree with your assessment there. But 3 throws, he should have had 3 picks in the first half. There was one that was dropped. He threw into double coverage as well. But he's been good on second and long situations. 8 of 13 in second and long situations. That's the difference in this football game, a 3-point difference. And it'd be a lot worse if Bo hadn't made a couple of bad errors. But I can tell you about Crum, he's not having the same success because Hamilton defense is forcing a lot of second and longs, and this would typically be a first down run for him. But when you got 2nd and 10, they're coming up and playing that, and they're punting the football. This is continuous. He was 1 of 6 in second and long situations, and to me, this is a nice ad lib by him, but it doesn't get it done because it's second and long. And to me, Hamilton's playing this perfectly. You know, Davis, I know you wanted to talk about the spy in the first part of the ball game. We hear Suits talking about 007, doing a nice job mixing it up, but this kid's a player, and they're going to figure it out, and he's going to hurt you with those legs sooner or later. Bo keeps turning it over.
Hey,
Man, Ottawa's a scary football team.
Hardy and Bahar in the slots. If you're going to spy, then those guys should be open. Wear those 2 slots out. Right?
The great part of the Red Blacks, too, not that we expected every single game, they do make great adjustments in the second half. We've watched the last 2 games. We'll see what happens in this one. Currently down by 3 in the nation's capital.
After a day of rain, hail, wind, and more in the nation's capital, it feels a little apocalyptic around here. Well, why wouldn't it, Glenn Suter, as the suddenly surging Red Blacks return to TD Place? Don't get home, he misses! Slips high, it's intercepted!
But he just flat out overthrows him.
Jump ball! Touchdown, Tiger Cats!
It's a big receiver, big, strong receiver. Rain's no problem. Snow, sleet, all that stuff.
We love that
We can play in all of that.
Doubleheader Saturday officially upon us. First up, it is the Rough Riders taking on the Toronto Argonauts from beautiful Huskies Field at St. Mary's University. You can see it 7 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And then it has been 1,386 days since the Elks last won a home game. Will it finally happen tomorrow? Will we finally stop talking about it? 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Lions and the Elks wrapping up doubleheader Saturday. But let's go back to the Argos and the Rough Riders here. Riders getting a few guys back, which is great for them because they've been plagued by injury. Argos are perfect on the season. What are you looking for, Ches?
Yeah, I'm looking to see what Sask offensively is going to try to do. Where are they going to find the offense from? They're playing against a Toronto defense that they're big, they're long, and they have a whole lot of playmakers back there. So for me, some guys are really going to have to make some plays on offense. Getting some guys back, those guys are going to have to find some plays out there.
Davis, do you know if their team's going to be on the same sideline again? Like they're, yeah, it looks like they are. It looks like they are. So I hope there's a lot of security here because I think it's going to be a heated battle like we saw last year. I really do.
For us or for them?
Well, it could be. We'll be out there. We'll be right in the middle of it. But I look at this matchup, and boy, it's going to be smash mouth football, I think. And yes, Saskatchewan's getting healthy. Winnicke's coming back. You've got Lindius coming back. Aimless is there with Tevon Jones and Bain. And Morrow, I would like to be in that huddle. I mean, that's a decent huddle to work with right there. A lot of playmakers. But we know what Toronto's got. They're loaded, but I think this comes down to defense and who can create as much havoc as possible. And I'm going to give the advantage to Toronto because of the young quarterback and Mason Fine for Saskatchewan. I just think that it's going to be a hard battle, Milt.
You talk about defense in Saskatchewan. They're happy to get Lanier back. And they're going to need him along that defensive line because they're playing against the best quarterback in the league right now, and Chad Kelly.
Oh, you said his name. I was going to say, we got a whole segment without saying his name.
What you trying to say? I just jock him all the time, Chad? We're going to talk about this afterwards, Chad. Stay out of my business, man. I like the way he plays, son. Your family's in town. I'm embarrassed in front of your family.
To the point, Jason Shivers and that defense did a great job, and they'll have to be big again.
Yeah,
no doubt about
definitely.
it.
Poor Milt didn't even get his point across. Ran out of time. And you know what? Sorry, boys. You got to stop your thoughts because we're going to commercial. Coming up next, it's going to be Stats with the angry Milt Stiegel. stats with Milt Stiegel, the Hangry Beagle.
They asked, what can turnovers do for you? Well, turnovers can keep the opposing team in the game. You see how much Hamilton's dominated this game, but those 2 turnovers, it's only 9-6. And we know Crum, what he can do in the second half.
We'll see what Crum has in store for the fourth quarter and potentially OT. Did I jinx it by saying it?
Don't call it a comeback.
Don't call it a comeback. We'll get you back to Ottawa for second half action between the Ticats and the Red Blacks right after this.
It is only a 9-6 football game, but we got a fun one cooking here in the nation's capital as the Tiger Cats hold a slim lead on defense. The man returning for the Ottawa RedBlacks tonight, here is Jovan Santos Knox at field level with Kenzie Lalaw.
On your first game here of the season with the RedBlacks, it happens to be against your former team, the Ticats. How are you settling in?
I'm good, just trying to find my rhythm out there. We're playing hard. We just got to finish.
We've seen Bo throw a deep ball. We've seen him use a lot of receivers. How has your game plan adjusted here defensively as this game's gone on?
We just got to do our job. When we do our job, we take care of business and we make plays. So I think it's just doing our job and settling in.
That pick by Abdul kind of a little momentum for you guys as you enter the second half?
For sure. We preach takeaways, and that's what he did. He made a big play at the end of the half. Got us 3 before, so it's a big play.
Good, Javon. Good luck.
Thank you.
Turnover ratio coming into this one, the Hamilton Tiger Cats -5. That is 8th out of the 9 teams in the Canadian Football League. Bo Levi Mitchell in that first half threw a couple more, his 5th and 6th of the season. As Mark Leggio has this one on the tee, kicks it away. Hamilton won the toss, took the football to start the first half. Ottawa gets it to start the second. And it is Brandon Dandridge crossing the 35-yard line. Being wrapped up, and out comes Dustin Crum. Got banged up a little bit, and some pressure on him, especially Malik Carney. Suits all over him.
Well, based on his first 2.5 games, you know that the Hamilton Tiger Cats were going to be ready for him to try and escape and run. And they had a couple of different schemes lined up. Carney had a very good first half, trying to keep contained. They made sure they played to the echo of the whistle, so if he did take off, he was taking some hits. And to get a little work done on a passing hand on the sideline throughout that first half.
We'll begin here. Fake on the run, slides his way to the left, throws a dart to Justin Hardy. Look at the hands on Hardy, holding on to that one just across. Actually, they'll spot it up around the 48-yard line, as that's a nice chunk for the Red Blacks on first down.
Yeah, Tunde Adeleke was giving him a push in the back, so exactly what it was, Marsh. Just a real strong hands to squeeze that while your momentum is going the opposite direction.
On the season so far, the Hamilton Tiger Cats +19 in third quarters. The Red Blacks -18. Will they be able to flip that trend here? They'll go short yardage on 2nd and 1. Tyrell Pigram coming in and diving over the top of the pile. They'll pick up the first down as Crum returns.
Well, getting a chance to look at young quarterbacks taking advantage of their opportunities. That's what Dustin Crum's done, and one day it'll be Tyrell Pigram's turn, and I'm looking forward to seeing that after his preseason.
Looked great for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the preseason when there was multiple injuries here in Ottawa. Sean Burke, the general manager of the Red Blacks, gave him a call. Extra offensive lineman in here, Hunter Stewart. They add some beef up front. Crum shows run, gives it, and it's Carney. Tackled for loss in the backfield again.
Carney is having himself a game. Comes into this game with 3 sacks. He's got 2 tonight, but it's not just the sacks. It's not just those glory numbers. I mean, just sneaking underneath the block to cut off that run while maintaining contain. If Crum still had the ball, he could redirect and still turn him inside. He's having himself a big game.
Zach Pelios, the former 2nd overall pick of the Red Blacks, trying to contain Carney here as Crum takes a shot over the middle, hanging up high. It's intercepted. Kenneth George Jr. was intended for Shaq Evans, but the Tiger Cats have it as
Davis Sanchez talked about it at halftime. The receivers got to help out their quarterback in that one.
George Jr. could have had a big return. Ottawa lucky it didn't go for more. Tiger Cats have the rock.
Intended target here is Shaq Evans, and again, this is his first game back. He's running the seam route, and George is going to just run with him, basically running the route. So it's kind of twofold. Stop it here. First of all, if Crum throws it into the middle and lets Shaq go get it, he's got a chance. But he throws it up, and Shaq Evans doesn't put the brakes on and come back and try to help him with the jump ball on the underthrown pass.
Well, Levi Mitchell begins through the air, gets it out to Duke Williams. Coming into tonight, Dustin Crum was 2 of 5 on those passes of 20-plus yards. Now he's 0 of 2 on the night with an interception as well. They really haven't opened up the playbook for him, and the result is Kenneth George Jr. taking advantage.
Yeah, take another look. I mean, Crum takes part of the responsibility, because if he leads him to the middle here, then Shaq Evans can go and just run it down. But Evans also has to help him. I think Davis Sanchez talked about it at halftime. Like, the receivers got to stop, put the brakes on, come back. It's underthrown ball. Go get it. Fight for it.
The Duke Williams gain of 6. Tiger Cats looking to convert on second down once again. Mitchell works his way through the progression, now spins out to his left, resets, fades away. This one high, intended for Felix Grongoche. As right there is Frankie Griffin to knock it away, but that's really the first time we've seen Bo have to leave the pocket, Suits, and try to replant off of that injury.
Yeah, that's a coverage set. Well, coverage play where the back end for Ottawa basically locked down the receiving core. And Bo had to spin out and then go to his fullback on a crossing route, and Griffin cut that off.
Thought he was going to do the full round off coming out of that one. Well, back handspring action from Frankie Griffin. Fantastic find for the Red Blacks defense. As this one partially blocked or got real close to it. The Red Blacks pick it up down the sideline, goes Dandridge. Jumps over the top, ball is out at the end. I think he was down before the ball came out. The acrobatics of Dandridge, as you see Antti Milinovic-Litre, 2 touchdowns on the season, scrapping away on special teams. Marco Dubois right there in the middle of the fray as well. There's Bob Dice.
Lots going on this play. Almost blocked, first of all. And I'm not sure if the Red Black rush got a little piece of it. Around the edge there, and was that partially blocked? Just missed it, looked like. And then Dandridge at the other end. It's just a matter of time before he makes an impact on this game.
Almost got a hand on it.
Let's see if this was an actual fumble. He's hit. I think his forearm hit the turf, and that's what popped the ball out. That would be down by contact anyway. But it looked like Ottawa recovered.
You and I love this game so much. We're sitting here at 9-6. This could not be a more CFL 9-6 game. We've got acrobatics and DBs jumping over guys, jump balls in the back of the end zone.
DBs baiting for interceptions, and you know, I just and the special teams aren't done. When you have Tyreek McAllister and Dandridge, settle in.
Plenty of threats on specials. This offense for the Red Blacks, they'd like to get some positive momentum. Trump will hand it off on first down. Haven't seen Devontae Williams much as he lunges forward for a Red Blacks first down to the 50.
Yeah, for Kahari Jones, that might be the answer, Devontae Williams, because with all the focus on 18 and what he's doing, and can you keep him in the pocket? Can Malik Carney's been tracking him down all over the place. So has Jameer Thurman. 31 could be the answer for the Red Blacks offensively.
Missed 3 games this season. Was the week 1 starter. Happy to have him back, moving bodies up front. They go back inside. Hamilton all over it that time. It's Carney and Casey Sales finishing the play.
Yeah, see, Carney folded in there, but he hesitated just long enough, and now, you know, he starts to dictate a little bit in this cat and mouse game between quarterback and that ride and decide play.
because this time he gave it quickly to Williams in the middle, and Carney crashed down and made the tackle.
You got a defensive coordinator with the finger tape on. You know he's here for business.
Yeah, locked in.
Love Mark Washington down there calling it into his defense. Shamir Thurman at middle linebacker relaying the signals to the other 11 men. Crum looks to his right, zips this one out, incomplete. Fairly similar out route to the one that was caught for the 2-point in Calgary by Nate Bahar. That one falls to the turf and the punting unit comes out.
Yeah, you think the O-line is finally saying, okay, look, number 5 is he's causing problems, so we gotta try to take care of him. And look, little double team over there on Malik Carney.
Lewis Ward 2 for 2 on the night in this one. They're going to line it up all the way back at about 54 yards, it looks like. From this depth on the season, he is 1 of 1. His long on the year is 50. This would be a new season high for Ward. He's got the distance. Wow. That would have been good for nearly 60. Ward, who was protected from a lot of those deep kicks during his incredible consecutive field goal streak. They take the risk this time. Would have been a big flip in field position. No worries. Knocks it through. We got a tie ball game. Legends being honored here tonight in Ottawa. The 50th anniversary of the 1973 Ottawa Rough Riders Championship squad. There's Jerry Horgan.
33 was Dickie Adams, and there is Rick Casada, the quarterback of that football team, also former BC Lion. But Grey Cup 61, Ottawa Rough Riders, led by Casada. I'll tell you what, Dickie Adams, one of the great influences in my life, a DB coach in Saskatchewan for years. We had many heart-to-hearts.
2 great moves there by Duke Williams as he picks up the first down. Touchdowns by Rome Nixon and Jim Evanson. And that highlight pack from 73 as well, as you get a look at the trophy going up high. Man, that thing looks a little bit smaller than a lot of modern day fans might remember.
A few years added to it, yeah.
What an era, though. 68-69. Russ Jackson says goodbye. Casada, 73. Leading the Grey Cup champs right here in Ottawa. Great to have CFL football in Ottawa. Great to have the fans stick it out during the lightning delay here. As we've got a 9-9 football game midway through the third. Levi Mitchell rolls right into pressure, fades it up over the top, and Tim White jumps over the top of Alonzo Adai to go get it. A desperation catch from number 12.
Alonzo Adai, he thought about it. He thought about cutting under because pressure's on Bo Levi Mitchell here, so he got to get rid of it. And he thought about cutting under and then changed his mind at the end. He cuts under that, he's still running.
Long way to go for Adai. Been good stepping in for the injured Justin Howell at free safety. 2nd down and 4. Mitchell low and away. And is it a catch? Both officials looking at each other. They nod, and they'll give Terry Godwin the grab.
I haven't seen a lot of this matchup. Godwin against Danbridge. Of course, Danbridge, a couple of big plays in the last 2 games. He got the comeback started in the Winnipeg game down by 16 with a pick for a touchdown, and then big play against Calgary.
Mitchell takes a look to his right. Sees a 3-pack of receivers. That includes Kyle Loxley. Flips it underneath on the crossing route. Like he was trying to get it to Tim White, and Javon Santos knocks the middle linebacker, says, I know what you guys are up to.
Yeah, they're still working on some of these new formations, clearly, because again, there's 2 receivers there a little too close together. That's happened 3 or 4 times tonight. You can see crossers over and unders, but there's usually about 10 to 15 yards of separation between the 2.
Loxley checks out of the football game. You see him there. Tyreek McAllister comes back in, averaging 26 yards per catch on the season coming in. Just 4 grabs to his name coming in, but he's up that tally again here tonight. And a big screen grab. Big Duke Williams to the line of scrimmage. Mitchell, pressure, throws it away at the feet of James Butler.
Douglas Coleman was the difference maker here. He took McAllister out of the backfield. Well, not the backfield, basically the slot to the field, but he took McAllister and covered him down really well. He's out here to the left of your screen, and that's kind of where look at Bo Levi Mitchell's looking over there. He wants 35. He sees him well covered, and he bails on it. And then it's just throw it into the turf and live to play another down.
Well, Ottawa gets the deep field goal. Hamilton moves it up to midfield and has to kick it away. Backward spiraling boot. Kicks back. Rolled forward. It'll be no yards as Dandridge trying to win the race to the edge. And a great special teams tackle in the open field. Javian Elliott, a CFL free agency addition out of Calgary, tracked down Dandridge.
That's a big play.
Elliott feeling it a little bit. Orlando Steinauer looking on. Dandridge makes his way to the sideline.
Boy, that's a big play by Javian Elliott to get all the way down on the outside here. Look at number 7. Okay, stop it right there. I mean, he is now in between the numbers and the sideline at the wide side of the field. Now, Dandridge can run. He can get the corner, and Elliott passes 5 of his teammates to cut him off. That's a big special teams tackler. He might have been around that corner and gone.
Dustin Crum in the RedBlacks offense, deep in their own end, but he gets a completion here to Shaq Evans. Catches it at the 40, hikes forward for another 4 yards after the catch.
Put everybody else to the field, get one-on-one with Shaq Evans. Got to get him involved. I mean, this is a guy who had a 1,300-yard season. I mean, Shaq Evans of old is in there somewhere. Maybe that gets him going.
Brown looks run, throws a slant to the outside. There's Bahar. Haven't said his name much as he lunges the football forward for, again, as he gets up and talks a little bit to Richard Leonard.
Yeah, not a lot of sustained drives, so we haven't talked a lot about Jalen Acklin or Nate Bahar and just what a great combination he and Crum have been throughout the last couple of games.
Goes to the sideline, catching his wind a little bit after the hit. And a heavy package in here for the RedBlacks on 2nd and 2. Late substitutions from Hamilton to match it. Crum gives it right downhill. Milanovic-Litre, and he needs to get to the 54. I don't think he did, Suits.
Be very close. It looks like, you know, the refs will call in whether or not they're going to measure this. Fans want him to go. They're bringing in Terrell Pigram, short yardage quarterback. But this is a full yard.
Decided not to earlier, but they will go here. Coming into tonight, Ottawa was 5 of 6 on 3rd and short situations, trying to keep the drive alive. Line of scrimmage stacked. Big Teddy Laurent right in the middle of the fray. Pigram goes to the right, leans forward. It'll depend on the spot. Looks from here in the booth, right above the 55 at TD Place, that he got it. And he did.
Yeah, they're putting it down right on the 55-yard line. If you're watching somewhere in the U.S., yes, we have a 55-yard line.
And it's painted red here in Ottawa, which we love. Nice job by Pigram to pick that one up. I'm not sure he would have got it if he went right at Ted Laurent.
No, Ted Laurent had a good push.
John fakes the run. Pressure on, and he'll go down. Flying in off the back edge that time. It's Trey Crawford. First year at a UAB.
Part of the rotation, Crawford up here in that 2-point track stance, giving Malik Carney a bit of a rest. And he cuts on an inside move. He's got contain help from the defensive tackle, so he doesn't have to worry about that. And he goes on an inside move. The Ottawa O-line cannot pick it up.
It's his second of the night, and it's a 9-yard loss. 2nd and 19, not a down in distance. Kahari Jones, the Red Blacks offensive coordinator, wants to be in with Dustin Crum right now. Trying to throw into it, holds onto it. Carney's trying to track him down. Now Crum will go for a run. Nick Cross at a UBC pulls him down from behind after Crum goes for about a 40-yard run to pick up 12 yards.
Close quickly. They're going on 2nd and long, or sometimes 2nd and 10. Mark Washington is calling 3-man pressure because he's already seen Malik Carney get there in 2 sacks in 3-man pressure. Almost got there again. He just went a little bit too far wide. I'm going to punt this out. A little bit too far for Ward on this one. now we're getting silly.
Hammered that last one through from 54, but they'll keep him on the sidelines and send out his buddy Richie Leone here with a nice spiraling boot. Gets out the pitching wedge and sits that one right down at the 5-yard line. A 46-yard punt and his second kick inside the 10-yard line of the season for Richie Leone. Well, Brandon Dandridge had himself a breakout season in 2021. He started his career with an interception in 3 straight games. He's got 2 interception returns the last 2 games. For more, let's go down to Kenzie Lalonde.
And that play against Calgary was a result of purely film study. I was talking to Bob Dice yesterday about that play in particular, and he wasn't surprised at all. Brandon is a quiet player, but he studies film like no one else. He knew the Stampeder system. All he had to do was jump on the route and make the play. And this goes back to his days in college at Missouri Western in 2018. He's led his team in interceptions and the conference in passes defended. So he's coming in tonight, 3 touchdowns, 2 for a pick 6. Guys, he's continuing to be an impact player, whether he's a cornerback or even here on special teams.
Brandon Dandridge, 3 touchdowns on the season, 1 on a big punt return here earlier this season at home. Back-to-back pick 6s. He's tied for the team lead in scores with Dustin Crum.
Love it. Playing with great confidence.
Levi Mitchell hands it off to Butler. Big hit off the corner here. Double duty as well. Starting boundary corner tonight is Dandridge. The last time these teams played in week 5, he was over on the other side at field corner, but he's doing a little bit of everything right now, and special teams is a big part of it.
Yeah, and lots of ways to score in Canadian football, and he's taking full advantage of it. You know, that interception against Calgary, the film study, as Kenzie mentioned, big time part of that, but he didn't get out of his back pedal. He sat on that route. You have to have confidence in a one-on-one matchup to not backpedal, shuffle your feet 3 times, and then jump the route the way he did. You actually know what's coming, and you have to have great confidence that they didn't change it up on you, and you can make it up with your great speed.
Remember when he signed back.
57. That penalty's declined. It'll be 2nd down.
2nd down. The crowd gets into it here with Hamilton backed up, but remember when Dandridge signed back in Ottawa, the Toronto Argonauts went after him last season at the end of the year. He settled in nicely. See if he helps get a stop here on 2nd and 10.
Big play.
Tie ball game. Mitchell looking to throw from his end zone. Rolls to the left, flips it into the waiting arms of Kai Loxley, who was somehow crossing in the perfect place. I thought Bo was throwing that one away, Suits.
Well, he's rolling to his left, and, you know, he is a pocket guy. We've seen many times. He throws with great accuracy from the pocket throughout his career. Not so much rolling to his left, throwing back against the flow, and Loxley with a little flick coming across the field picks it up. And, again, a gutsy throw from Bo Levi Mitchell down there on your own 5-yard line.
Try that when you're playing with your kids in the backyard tomorrow afternoon. See how your elbow feels the next day. 8th different receiver to catch a pass from Bo tonight. Now he looks down the middle of the field. Skinny, and it's incomplete. Godwin nearly hauled it in for a big score, and who's there? Who else?
Yeah, catch-up speed. Brandon Dandridge, again with confidence. He is okay with a receiver getting a jump on him and maybe even starting to pull away early because he's confident in his speed. Look at 37. He's just looking at the ball. He's tracking it. Now he knows, oh, I'm a little bit behind. Redirects, takes that extra step. and just gets his hand on it.
Incredible rep between those two. Both threw him skinny. He was trying to lead him up the field in a way, and Dandridge just changed his angle perfectly. Leaves 2nd and 10 after the 10th pass attempt of 15-plus yards for Mitchell. This time he looks underneath. McAllister catches it and will get the first down. Dancing away, fighting through arm tackles, the undersized slot back and return man.
Zone look this time from Ottawa, and they, in a zone look, you throw it underneath and hope your tailback, or in this case McAllister, your slot back, can pick it up on his own.
There you see Baron Miles digging in with this defense. Least penalized defense in the CFL with just 11 coming into tonight. Wants to get off the field on 2nd down though. Tiger Cats go back to the screen game, looking for Keandre Smith, and no connection.
Some more pressure. Onyeka came up the field and was right in the vision of Mitchell. Now they're going to get the crowd in. Couple 2nd downs that Bo Levi Mitchell has converted. And the crowd says, here, we'll try and help you out. And fired up.
Bo fighting through the crowd noise with a blitz on. Gets it out quickly and stopped. Intercepted Dandridge. Now he fumbles it on the ground, and I think the Hamilton Tiger Cats got back on top of the football.
Did Woodmansey go and recover that? Because it was jumped, I mean, on cue. There's the intended target. And Danbridge, again, no back pedal at all. He gets in a track stance and jumps the curl. Terry Goodwin forced the fumble. Woodmansey gets it. New set of downs for Hamilton.
Well, that's one way to convert on 2nd. The crowd in disbelief here at TD Place. Not just model good looks on Coulter Woodmansey. They can also dig in at the bottom of the pile and go get you the football. 1st and 10 Hamilton somehow. They go with a bubble screen. Kyle Loxley's got some running room right down the middle of the field. Crosses the 50, cuts back against traffic. He beats Carrion Brooks. Can he get a block? To the end zone. Yes! The 3rd string quarterback on the final play of the 3rd quarter goes for 6. 75 yards for Kyle Loxley.
Wow, what just happened? We had an interception, we had a fumble, we have a bubble screen, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats coaching staff stick with Kyle Loxley on this. They've had some issues with this, and the formation throughout this game, there looked like there's been at times they've been a little confused, and Loxley maybe in the wrong position. They stuck with it, bubble screen, and there's the athlete taking over. Once he got the ball in his hands, took it to the house.
And somehow Bo Levi Mitchell's at 353 passing yards as he gets his 2nd passing touchdown of the football game. And Mark Leggio gets a chance to make good on his previous miss after the Duke Williams touchdown way back in the 1st quarter. Knocks this one through. 16-9. That is the 3rd quarter of play. Kyle Loxley, released by the Edmonton Elks a couple weeks ago, picked up by Hamilton. Is he a depth quarterback? Is he a running back? Is he a slot receiver? Whatever he is, he's in the end zone. And the Tiger Cats have the lead as we head to the 4th. Well, after 3 quarters of play, the Hamilton Tiger Cats lead 16-9. I thought the lightning storm left earlier on tonight, but we just had a huge bolt of electricity go through TD Place here, Glenn Suter, because Kyle Loxley goes to the end zone. But does he get credit, or does Terry Godwin get credit for this one?
Well, Terry Godwin made two big plays there. First of all, Danbridge has the interception. Ottawa looks like they're going to take over, but the ball is stripped by Godwin, who was the intended target. And then Godwin makes the block on the Loxley touchdown to get him in the end zone. That final 5 yards was because of Godwin's block. So he gets the assist on it. But, you know, this is, again, Bo Levi Mitchell told us this week, he said, you know, if I throw for 400 yards and we don't win, I'm going to be upset. And he's going to get there at this pace.
He said that after watching his ex-teammate Jake Mayer go for 450 and 4 touchdowns against these Ottawa RedBlacks and lose in overtime just last week. Well, Bo is going to be on pace to accomplish a lot of that Jake Mayer stat line in his return. But can the RedBlacks find a way to get another victory, another one at home? It begins with the return by Brandon Dandridge out across the 35-yard line. As another special teams tackle goes to the Acadia alum as we're headed out to the East Coast and touchdown Atlantic tomorrow. Bailey Feltmate, his second special teams tackle of the night.
Well, does he have a third? Come from behind. We don't even need overtime. Let's just take it right down to the final 3. No one, by the way, has ever won 3 overtime games in a row. No team in the history of the Canadian Football League. One other team has done it twice. They did it with Calgary Stampeders, did it with Danny Barrett back in 1991 against the BC Lions. That was Doug Flutie's time in BC. But I think Danny Barrett had a little more experience than Dustin Crum when he pulled it off. That year, Stamps went to the Grey Cup. That was the Rocket Ishmael year.
Year of the Rocket.
Yep.
As Sean Thomas Erlington is down, and hope that he's going to be okay as he came back on the roster for the first time in a long time here tonight. We'll step away while they take a look at ST. Time now for your Coors Light moment of chill for the Ottawa RedBlacks coming into the Dustin Crum experience. They had a league low 7% of touchdown drives. Since he's come in, he's doubled it when he's been the quarterback. Up to 14% of touchdown drives come with Crum on the field. But man, has he ever been chilled off tonight by this Tiger Cats defense.
Carney and company have chilled that hot streak out a little bit so far, but there's time to go here.
The Ottawa RedBlacks on the season, 42 fourth quarter points. Third behind only Toronto and Calgary. They're going to need them. They're going to find a way to win here at home. Crum pumps, looks over the top, evades the pressure. Now he'll take off and scramble. Big hit. Simone Lawrence. Heat-seeking missile was waiting for Crum to cross the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he definitely does not look. I think I've seen him look to slide once in these now almost 3.5 games. Looking to get that extra yard, and Simone Lawrence flying from the inside. Lines him up, leads with the shoulder. Solid hit, shoulder to shoulder.
Big substitution package came in late for Ottawa. Hamilton blitzes Crum, looking underneath and trying to find Jalen Ackland, whose name we have not said at all tonight.
Really slow start to the year, considering, you know, what he did last year with 75 catches, almost 1,200 yards. Now he's in a different position playing this year. And, you know, I thought early on in the season, the first couple of games for Ottawa, he got hit a bunch of times in that new spot. Took a pretty good pounding. I don't know how he's recovered from it. It's been slow, and Crum has just had the last couple of games trouble finding Ackland.
It's the first target of the ball game for Jalen Ackland, who splits out to the top as the lone receiver. No catches. Terrell Pigram comes in, short yardage, sprints off the left-hand side, plunges his way forward. And the Tiger Cats defense not happy about their early movement, or...
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. Unless there was movement. I don't see a flag. But there's no question he got it. Ball right on the line.
Nope.
No, I think that's just a clean play off the left side and first down.
Anthony Gosselin back on the roster helping out. There's Marco Dubois digging in alongside Pregame. Gets a fresh set of downs here for the Red Blacks. Crum looks to his left, wanted to slant, has to get off of it. Now he's running right into the waiting arms of that Tiger Cats defense. It's Mohamed Diallo all the way on the other side, and that bloody towel on Dustin Crum says just about everything of how he's been treated by the Tiger Cats defense tonight.
Well, because he thinks of himself as a dual threat and wants to do this. I mean, he wants to run, but the Ticats are putting that extra hit on him. I mean, that's going to be a couple extra ice bags at the end of this one for Crum. Not to say that Calgary and Winnipeg didn't do the same thing when he got out there in the open field, but he's okay with it.
Man down behind the play for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Sean Thomas Erlington, by the way, did make his way over to the sideline with the help of the training staff before we went to break. The exhaustion. I was actually just about to marvel at the fact that the first step of Mohamed Diallo tracking down Dustin Crum, that's not a defensive end. I mean, they play him all over the place, but that wasn't Malik Carney that went and chased him down. That was the D-tackle Mohamed Diallo.
Yeah, just the 305 pounds. Redirecting.
We'll step aside as they look at Diallo. Come back with more after this. Welcome back to Ottawa as they have taken Mohamed Diallo under his own power off to the sideline. Looked like a cramp for the big man wearing 94 on Hamilton's defense. It's a three-man rush on 2nd and 11. Crum looks over the middle, completes. Justin Hardy dives forward. First down, Red Blacks.
Nick Cross is the extra linebacker back here, and he's going to step up and spy Crum, and he voids the zone. This is what we talked about early on. They're playing three-man pressure with zone, but you see Cross come up, and he's going to spy. Well, that's exactly where he would have dropped.
An advantage of it that time to the 50-yard line of Hamilton. Gosselin in the game. Make the run. Zip it outside. First catch for Ackland. Yards after the catch. And he gets a gain of 13 on first down. And Ackland was talking a lot in the pregame warm-up and finally gets something to talk about here in the fourth.
Well, I'll tell you what, he looks like a receiver that really would like to get the ball. That's what he looks like on this play. Man, I got the ball in my hands. Get out of here. I'm not going down. Good effort.
Had the mic drop moment, opening drive touchdown week 6 last year against Hamilton at Tim Hortons Field. Knows all the guys on the other side on that defense. As they split Devontae Williams out wide this time. Tons of time for Crum. Steps forward in the pocket, looks for a lead block, picks a hole, drives forward. A gain of 9, it looks like, on first down.
All right, Jones going to go with short yardage right here or go second down regular offense and have a whole lot of options. Oh, no, they're going to give him the first. So he just got a new set.
Nice work from Crum, adding to his quarterback CFL leading rushing total. They got a fresh set. This is a formation they used the first offensive snap of the ball game. Here shoots. Hard count. And looks like they got Chris Edwards. He was blitzing hard off the edge.
That's exactly what it was. Hard count from Crum. Again, you know, maturity beyond his years to use the snap count as a weapon. The offensive advantage, the blitz was coming from here, as you mentioned, from Chris Edwards. And he hard counts it.
Procedure, Ottawa, number 61. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Now they're saying that
they got Desjardins, the left guard.
Yeah, Desjardins moved first. Take one more look because the fans don't like it. Desjardins right there, so let's see. Does he move? I didn't think he did. No, that's not sure about that call.
He was rocking back, but I think Edwards was
already in the neutral zone.
The lesser of two evils, you'd have to think on that one, but regardless, creates a bit of a hole. 1st and 15. Crum flips the football, gets it out. Ackland, another catch, fumbles it, and gets back on top. And it'll be a minimal gain, and now Edwards goes for a run at the end of the play and takes an unnecessary roughness as Nate Bahar will celebrate drawing the penalty flag from Chris Edwards. They've been talking all game. Bahar playing a lot of that inside slot blocking on running plays, and he finally baited Chris Edwards into taking a dumb one.
Well, Bahar was blocking Edwards on this play, and Edwards didn't like it and played beyond the whistle.
After the play, we have a post-play 15-yard misconduct on Hamilton, number 24. Half the distance to goal, automatic first down.
Difference between regular penalties and penalties after the whistle. And penalties after the whistle are undisciplined penalties. And that's exactly what Chris Edwards just got, an undisciplined penalty.
Most penalized team in the CFL, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, for the first 7 weeks, as Edwards takes what would have been a 2nd and 11 for a young quarterback with pressure on to get a touchdown and gives him a 1st and 10 from the 14. It's a gift for a Red Blacks offense whose score zone percentages are not good. Can they take advantage? Crum keeps the football, tackled from behind. Looks like it's behind the line of scrimmage, and that'll go down as a sack for Casey Sales.
Yeah, Edwards came hard around the edge, and you know, I think he talked to the ref right afterward. He's better be careful because the penalty he just got, if he gets another one that is a similar penalty for an after the whistle type of thing, he's not only gets the 15 yards again, but he is thrown out of the game. He got involved in the tackle first, and he gave an extra push there, and then said something to the official.
Pressure look from the Tiger Cats. Crum looks to his left, pumps, comes back to the right, dances away from 2 men, and gets stacked up, runs right in to the Tiger Cats' best tackler, Jameer Thurman, in the middle of it. Or was it Simone Lawrence? Also picking himself up off the bottom.
Well, I tell you what, this is a tough kid. I mean, he is not backing down. He is running straight down Main Street, and he's not hook sliding either. Now that is a solid shot from Jameer Thurman, right in the chest plate.
And an interesting call here. Obviously plenty of time remaining, 8:15 in the ball game. That's 16-9. And what does a field goal get you when you're down this deep? We'll find out by the end of the game. Obviously play the results on that one a little bit, but Ottawa crowd that stayed through the lightning delay wanted to see the offense stay on the field.
8 minutes, a lot of time.
Yep. Leone puts it down. Ward hammers it through as we get a look at Jameer Thurman. 39 tackles coming into this evening. One of the hardest hitters in the CFL. He got all of Dustin Crum. The CFL on TSN continues. Look at that place, St. Mary's University. Is that going to be home of the start of a double header? Live from Halifax, coverage kicks off with a Touchdown Atlantic showdown between the Rough Riders and the Argos. And it will continue with the Lions versus the Elks. It all gets underway at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, only on TSN. Looking forward to seeing some Touchdown Atlantic action out there at St. Mary's University. Inside handoff goes to James Butler. As we welcome in those of you watching on TSN 3, welcome to a lightning delayed showdown in the East Division between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Ottawa RedBlacks. 16-12 your score. Marshall Ferguson, Glenn Suter, and Kenzie Lalonde down at field level for us here throughout the evening. With the Tiger Cats sitting at 2nd and 5 Levi Mitchell in his return after 4 games away, rolls to his right, looks down the field, fades this one high, up for grabs. Alonzo Adai came down with it. The 3rd interception of the night for the RedBlacks defense.
Adai climbs the ladder here and goes right over Tim White to steal this ball. It's a jump ball. Mitchell on the run is going to throw it up. And watch how Adai goes up. Doesn't really even high point. It just goes up and rips it out of Tim White's hands. We get a good look at it here on the ISO. It's going to be dropped off by Brooks. Adai picks him up from the middle, and ball is up. Go up and get it. Great play.
Members of the 73 Grey Cup Championship team watching on in the background. Locked on to Alonzo Adai.
Dickie Adams was a DB. He's going, yeah, man.
Biggest smile in the crowd on that one. Great play by Alonzo Adai. Former 2nd-round pick of the RedBlacks out of West Virginia. Right down the chute was Devontae Williams. He called for that one a little earlier, Suits, and we finally get him going here. They get the field goal. They trail by 4, 6.5 to go, and the running game is back.
Yeah, and it still counts. It still matters because now we're deep into the 4th, but Hamilton's defensively are looking so much at 18. I mean, they are locked into containing Crum. Get Williams out there a few more times. Even if you flare him out, you might get him into some open space.
That comes up to Crum on 1st and 10 after the big Williams run. Nobody home, takes off, and just lunges forward back to the line. It was the 4th interception of the night for Bo Levi Mitchell there, flipping it up and having it taken away. That gives Ottawa another opportunity to get back in the football game here.
Well, just as I mentioned it, Devontae Williams does flare out of the backfield, and I think Crum wanted him, but he's going to get covered down here by Simone Lawrence. So 31 leaves the backfield. Simone goes with him. That's why Crum thought, well, if the linebacker's gone, I'm going to try and run up the middle, but they rally to it.
Pressure look on. They'll walk up. Jonathan Kongbo loops around. Ball is gone. Shaq Evans can't hang on to it. Chris Edwards right there to give him some pressure. And Evans heard the footsteps.
Made a catch earlier, but he's still not back yet. First game off the 6-game injured. Had a tremendous training camp by all accounts.
Five targets, 1 catch for Evans on the evening. So Ottawa will send it away once again. I haven't said Tyreek McAllister's name very much here in the return game the last little while. They'll get an opportunity with this ball down at his own 15-yard line. Straight up the chute, bounces off 2 tackles, and he might be free. He made Leone miss, and is finally wrapped up. Kenny Onyeka saves the day, and McAllister nearly took one all the way right down the middle.
You just got the feeling that he was just a step ahead. Let's see. Cover teams in their lanes. Look like they got a little stack there. That's 2 Ottawa RedBlacks in the same cover lane, and you get a guy with that kind of quickness. One little mistake, and he'll find a seam. How about Onyeka, though? Hustle down, stay in your lane, outside, and now pursuit to the football. Pursuit. Uh-oh.
Something's happening.
He's gotta get him. And if he doesn't dive right at that moment, there's no chance for a second dive.
7th special teams tackle of the year for Kenny Onyeka. 4th rounder out of Carleton in his 4th year here with the RedBlacks. 4 interceptions coming into the night. He's got 4 tonight. Bo Levi Mitchell just threw his 5th.
Tim White is the intended receiver. He's going to just sit in the curl, hit from behind. Ball pops out. Was it Danbridge again with the hit to dislodge it? I think it is. Just tremendous timing to hit White in the back, get his momentum going forward, and the ball pops out into the hands of Griffin.
And he can't believe it. Douglas Coleman, Abdul Kana, Frankie Griffin, Alonzo Adai, and Brandon Dandridge. 5 interceptions, 5 different players on the Red Blacks defense. As the weak side linebacker, who's really known for making great plays at the line of scrimmage, bailed out, found a little present for himself.
Well, that's hustle too, right? Frankie Griffin just flying to the football. That's what defense is. Fly to the football when it's in the air and good things will happen.
Mohamed Diallo is down with a cramp once again as Bo sitting on the bench. Taylor Powell looking it over. Haven't seen him take a single snap tonight. There's Matthew Schultz, injured and out of the lineup. They're in the cutoff, the far right side.
Yeah, no, that one's not on Bo. I mean, he hit Tim White in the chest, and it's just a great timing hit from Brandon Dandridge. Sometimes defense earn it and make the play, and that's exactly what happened. Him again. Third game in a row that he's made an impact play.
Bo in disbelief. I think we've all been there. You show your friend your phone and go, look at this. Can you believe this?
Well, you know, a couple have been on him. I mean, he's got 2 touchdowns tonight. He's closing in on 400 yards passing tonight, but he's also thrown 5 interceptions tonight. A couple that have just sort of been, he's been baited. That one, he got bailed out by a fumble, forced fumble by Godwin, but and that one not Tim, or on Tim White, not Mitchell. But again, some 3 of the 5 decisions.
Bo's last 3 passes, a 75-yard touchdown pass to Kai Loxley, interception, interception.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been that kind of night. I mean, for either offense. And the other crazy thing about this, he told us this week, guys, if I throw for 450 and 4 touchdowns and I lose, we're going to have an issue.
Yeah.
We all laughed, right?
Yeah.
Well, the league lead in interceptions is Jake Mayer with 9. Well, Bo Levi Mitchell now is tied for the league lead in interceptions with 9 with Jake Mayer, his old Calgary teammate, who last week had 450 and 4 touchdowns and lost.
And a 4-point game who against a team in Crum, led by Crum, back-to-back overtime wins.
Will Mayer and Bo have the same fate back-to-back weeks for 2 different teams? Brown looking to run on 2nd down. 4th quarter magic. He finds the sticks and converts.
On that run alone, I think about our talk with him this week when he goes, why don't more quarterbacks run? There's a lot of room out there. Now he has to make a couple of moves and use some speed to get outside.
And it looks like Ottawa used one of their timeouts before the 3-minute warning here. Yep. So they burned this one in order to make sure that they
3 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock. 3:04.
Now at some point, and I'm just going to bring it up one time because I love watching this kid be a dual threat guy. But at some point, Carr Jones got to have a talk with him and say, there are going to be times when you get in the open field, don't take that hit. Take as many yards as you can, hook slide, and we'll line up again. But you know, sometimes we emphasize that. I mean, I just be a dual threat. Let's see it. Does he have a 3rd one in him?
This is where he has been special over the last 2 games. Steps forward, loads it up. The rare deep shot down the field, looking outside and split in between Jalen Acklin and Nate Bahar on 1st and 10.
Yeah, you know, I think Jalen Acklin thought he was the target at first and then looked to Bahar and thought, well, maybe it's for you. And they both hesitated.
Both took a look at it. Neither of them got to it. Acklin a little lost. Tunde Adeleke there in the coverage. We've hit the 3-minute warning. Is it time for another crumb back? Come on back and find out. We are headed off to Halifax tomorrow. It's the Rough Riders and the Argonauts. It's on TSN, CBS Sports Network as well. Enjoy some East Coast hospitality as the Riders will take on the Argos live from St. Mary's University. And then it's followed up by the Rough Riders the Lions against the Elks. And it all gets underway at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, only on TSN. As second down here, pressure on. Dustin Crum brought down, sack taken right down the chute. It was Stavros Katsantonis' first sack of the season, and Simone Lawrence was there to wrap up the ankles and finish it off.
Wow, safety blitz, and something that Mark Washington does not run all game long, and then in the key moment, because field goal range here, if Crum doesn't get the first down, he kicks the field goal. It's a 1-point game. They can kick off deep, hope for the 2 and out. Hamilton has to get some first downs to finish it with a 1-point lead. But now, out of field goal range, forced to kick it.
Orlando Steinauer was the defensive coordinator of the Hamilton Tiger Cats before going to Fresno State and coming back to be the head coach. That was a favorite of his in crunch time. Free safety right down the middle. Pays off for the Hamilton defense. Now the special teams can't create any sort of return. And now it'll be on Bo Levi Mitchell, who basically just has to laugh off the 5th interception and go out and find a way.
Yeah, grind it down. We'll see a little run game here. Keep the clock running, but that Baron Miles, now it's up to him. How can he get pressure? Maybe Danbridge got another one in him, but you're right. Trump now goes to Bo Levi Mitchell in this Hamilton offense. They got a chance to grind this down. Expect from Baron Miles, run blitz. In other words, put the linebackers on the line of scrimmage. Expect that they're going to hand it off, try and grind the clock down and get them in second and long.
5 turnovers acquired tonight by the Ottawa RedBlacks defense. Only 6 points off of those 5 turnovers. Offense not able to create. Heavy package in here for the Tiger Cats. Trying to burn some clock. James Butler gains to the inside. Or he is brought down. Javon Santos Knox on the tackle. Substitutions on both sides. Dayton Black, first round pick of the Tiger Cats this year, checks out. So too does Schaefer, the nose tackle. They're playing shot for shot on personnel. A couple big bodies come out. And will they put the ball in the hands of Bo Levi Mitchell on a night where he's 23 of 40 with 2 touchdowns, but 5 interceptions?
Or will they throw to the short side where Brandon Danbridge hangs out?
Danbridge will be to the top of your screen. There he is, 37 in that classic bucket. For the Ottawa Rough Riders, 1973 championship night. There he is at the top. He'll line up across from Terry Godwin. Mitchell in the gun, 5 receivers. No blitz, just a 4-man rush. Mitchell moves to his right. Dances away from 2 men, and Bo's going to try to run for it. Stumbles his way forward just shy of the 30-yard line.
That's a full 2. I don't think there's any question. There will be no gamble here from Steinauer.
Bo told us this week, Suits, that he was trying to replicate the movement of that injury that made him miss 4 games. That's exactly what he just did, rolling to his right, stuttering and trying to step forward. Well, I guess if you're a Tiger Cats fan, the thumbs up is that he didn't re-injure it in the most difficult movement of the night in his return from that injury, but you still got to kick it away. So a RedBlacks offense that trails by 4.
Are there any Crumback t-shirts left? I'm just saying.
If it happens a 3rd time, they're going to sell out about 5 minutes after this one's done. Dandridge tries to spin away in the open field. A starting receiver, Keandre Smith, makes the tackle on a 47-yard punt. The 4th rounder out of Guelph downfield in a hurry.
That is a huge play. That just gives their defense a ton of momentum. Keandre Smith on the teams with a guy with the kind of speed that Dandridge has, doesn't let him escape and get even any momentum going. And now it's a long field.
Keandre knows that one was nice.
That's big.
in these situations, last couple of weeks, it's been a whole lot of Nate Bahar. He lines up as the inside receiver. Crum will screen it back the other direction. Williams has got lots of running room. Two blockers out in front. Javianelli beats the block, but Williams is going to be inside the 40-yard line on a simple little screen, and it goes all the way for a 36-yard gain.
Blitz from both Edwards and Simone Lawrence, and they go screen in behind it. What a great call by Kahari Jones. If the linebackers are going to send the pressure, which has created a couple of sacks even from the safety, go screen to your back and get him in open field. What a great call by Kahari Jones there.
Crum on 1st and 10. Deep drop. Pass the ball, zips it out to Justin Hardy. He turns and runs away from Chris Edwards. Now makes Jameer Thurman miss and dives inside the 25. It'll be another 1st down for the Red Blacks.
Good patience here from Crum. Wait till he clears through the linebacking core, and then you leave it in the hands of Hardy. Nice move on the spin. 1st down.
Inside 90 seconds. Crum and the Red Blacks trailing by 4. Takes the snap, looks run, hands it inside. Williams makes the first man miss. Nearly the 2nd and 3rd before Carney finally tracks it down from behind.
3-down football, so Kahari Jones can call basically like this is a 1st down play. Doesn't have to force it, still time.
Kahari versus Mark Washington. How many times have they had this matchup in crunch time? Ticats bail out. Underneath, and it's incomplete. Oh, did it bounce up into the air and back to a lineman? Special delivery. Cyril Hogan St. Don out of Laval.
Hogan St. Don goes, okay, all right, this is new to me. See who gets a piece of it. Well, just straight through his hands, and then it off the foot. And that's pretty good. That's athleticism right there.
He's a center. They got hands.
Okay.
3rd and 6. Gotta have it for the Red Blacks. Inside a minute remaining. Down by 4. Over the middle. Big catch. Nate Bahar. 1st down.
So they're going to spy. Right now, Hamilton defensively are thinking this is going to be quarterback draw on 3rd down, and Crum's going to try to run. So they put Thurman right at the line of scrimmage, spying him, and they throw it right behind him to Bahar.
Again, Crum signaling at the line of scrimmage. They go quickly as it's whistled in. At what point does Hamilton send pressure and force the issue? Just 4-man rush again. Stepping forward, going for a run. It's Crum running right into tacklers inside the 5 on 1st down. Really reminiscent of week 5, where he ended up 2 yards shy of being able to bring Ottawa back and go for a 2-point. He gets a TD here, it'll be a lot more.
Looking for that seam.
And the Ottawa fans don't like the cramp. Timely.
Jonathan Kongbo is coming into the game, substituting in.
Trey Crawford is down.
Yeah, Crawford. Now Crawford has to leave for 3 plays, but clearly Hamilton needing get their defense a little bit of a rest and get to regroup here.
On 2nd and 2 from the 4, Suits. Obviously they can get a 1st down without needing to score. 36 seconds left. It's not like you're trying to just get 2 yards. You're not trying to just get 3 yards. But this is 3-down territory, and you've got that extra set of downs available as well.
Exactly, and that's important because you could run off tackle here. It's a big part of the scenario and the play calling between these two.
And listen to TD Place.
Now they're going big team.
just because of that. You can get the first down, you only need 2 yards. So Ottawa offensively going big team, and a substitution with Ted Laurent coming in for the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Kyle Wilson.
A place where there was 13 straight home losses. They broke it on Canada Day weekend with Tyree Adams as the starting quarterback. Hamilton has beaten the Red Blacks 8 straight times. Blood on the hand of Dustin Crum. Antti Milanovic-Litre is in the backfield. The hammer, 2 touchdowns on the season. Heavy team is in. They'll turn. Give it to Litre. He dives forward. Looks like it's a gain, but it's not enough for a first down from here.
Now you bring in the regular offense. Still 3rd and 2, so didn't look like Milanovic-Litre got anything on that run.
And keep in mind, they'll whistle this in with 22 seconds remaining after the substitutions are made by both sides. So Chris Edwards checks back into the ball game at strong side linebacker. 3rd down conversions. Ottawa 3 of 3 here on the night. They whistle it in. Clock rolls inside 20 seconds. 3rd down and 2. Dustin Crum, he'll throw. Knocked down. Casey Sales got a big mitt on it.
What a
And a late flag comes up along the Ottawa sideline.
Oh boy. Hold on.
What has happened here?
Casey Sales with a huge play on 3rd down. But what happened right in front of the Ottawa bench?
I imagine it would be after the play. And it would just back up the Hamilton offense, but still have to snap the ball. Time remaining on the clock from way back in their own end. As Kenneth George Jr., a little chest tap saying, "That's on me."
After the play, misconduct foul, 10-yard penalty on Hamilton, number 3. Half the distance to goal. First down, Hamilton.
Because it was after the play was over. The biggest play of the game and the play that matters is the Casey Sales knockdown, because Bahar is open on a dig route right here in the end zone. And he times his jump perfectly, and with the left hand knocks it down on 3rd down. Now, had that trash talking happen a few seconds earlier, it's first down Ottawa inside the 5, but it was after the play, and therefore Hamilton gets possession.
Headset is off Bob Dice. Hamilton backed up at their own 2-yard line. They're just going to plunge their way forward as Bo Levi Mitchell in to take it. Did Bo just get rolled up on?
I think he did. They're bringing in the training staff.
That athletic therapist Claire Toffelmeyer wakes her way off the sideline quickly.
Santos Knox is trying to pull him backwards. He gets him, he dives past him and then tries to pull him backwards. And you're right, his legs are rolled on. I mean, at 13 seconds, you can kneel down.
Why not have
kneel down twice?
Well, I'm not sure you can go backwards much necessarily, but why not have Taylor Powell short yardage quarterback? Kai Loxley's done short yardage in Edmonton.
He grabs his ankle. Go back to that 3rd down play while they're looking at Bo Levi Mitchell and Casey Sales knockdown. This is Bahar right here, and Bahar is going to run this dig route, and he is there. I mean, this is a heads-up play by a veteran D lineman, not going up the field, sliding across the line of scrimmage, timing up the jump, the throw, and knocking that down. I mean, that's the play of the game. Bo Levi Mitchell grabbed his ankle. I mean, you can leave your starting quarterback in those situations, you know, Marsh, but why didn't you just kneel down twice? Because
Bo's not going to put any weight on that right ankle as Rolando Steinauer is out. Missed 4 games with a lower body injury after a Week 2 loss against the Toronto Argonauts.
They're going to bring the card out, or at least some O-line help, or some of the big guys to help Bo off the field. There you come.
A couple of the young offensive linemen, and I'd say adding injury to insult after a 5-interception night, but I mean, I'm sure Bo was going to be happy to come out of here with a victory regardless of what his stat line ended up looking like in his return. And just a strange way to have this one end. So Bo is on the sideline, and now Taylor Powell gets his first snap of the night. We were told we might see him. They'll dig in here for victory formation. And Dave Foxcroft wisely whistles this one down as quickly as possible. That was a wild matchup between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Ottawa RedBlacks. Lightning delayed. Once it got going back and forth, Suits, final thought on
well,
heck of a night.
It really was. I mean, so many big plays, some mistakes that were capitalized on, and third straight game in a row, Dustin Crum inside the 5-yard line with a chance for one more Crum back. Fell short.
Ottawa was so close to writing another chapter in what has been an incredible stretch. It started back in Week 5 against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and Crum came up 2 yards shy. Tonight he comes up with a third down pass that gets knocked down. Tomorrow, touchdown Atlantic. CFL and TSN heads out east. Hope everybody in Halifax is fired up about that one, and a doubleheader, the Lions and the Elks as well. For all of us here in the nation's capital, for Glenn Suter, Kenzie Lalonde down at field level, and our entire crew, thanks so much for watching. Time now for SportsCenter.